However, this method cannot have a star general present. Su Xing, if you are willing to have faith in Kai Wei, then follow Kai Wei into the valley alone. Not allowing for any explanation nor caring for the responses of Su Xing's wives, Gong Kai Wei waved her sleeve, turned and walked towards Ice Soul Valley. In the face of this young woman who had wanted to gift a heavenly book a few days earlier, everyone looked at each other. Trust naturally was not the issue here. But Gong Caiwei's attitude was unusual, contrarily making Su Xing feel somewhat awkward. For a while, he merely sat cross-legged, not following. "Milord, it would be better to not betray the immortal hero princess kindness." Hua Wanhua felt this time was for Su Xing. Gong Kai Wei ought to still be able to be worthy of their trust. Wu Xiao said to Su Xing, "Go and look, Lord Husband. The immortal hero princess would not hurt Lord Husband. With serious internal injuries like these, refusing her will make us worried." "Fine then." Su Xing could not think of a better way. If he endured the injuries from 3 trials, he would instead hurt himself and hurt them. If Gong Kai Wei actually could help heal him, then these internal injuries would not be so bad. Shi Yuan also wanted to sneak in, but Wu Xiao held her back. "Elder sister. Just let Lord Husband and Gong Kai Wei be alone for a little bit. Perhaps the immortal hero princess indeed has a way to heal Lord Husband, and our presence would be inconvenient. Milord is always like this, making things difficult for me." Shi Yuan was confused. "Elder sisters, what are you saying? This young lady completely does not understand." "Yuan, you are still small." "Wu, even if this young lady's boobs aren't as big as yours, Sister Xiao, you don't need to talk about me like that," Shi Yuan cried. Su Xing entered a cave in Ice Soul Valley. The inside was very deep and quite cold. Navigating through several long and winding tunnels, a new scene opened up before him. A several kiloton cliff pressed cracks into the azure crystal, forming a spiral pattern in front of him. Magnificent lights shimmered in this cave. The wonderful light rays that blue crystal emitted were cold like ice, yet also gentle like water. At the center of the cave was a pool, clear as a mirror, emitting a cold qi. Gong Kai Wei stood at the water's shore. The pool's water reached her ankles. The girl's back was turned to Su Xing, striking a very beautiful profile. Her white clothes highlighted the curves of her back, outlining the full shape of her tightly wrapped butt. She was quiet. "This place is Ice Heart Cave. I have trained here ever since I was young." Gong Kai Wei heard Su Xing's footsteps and turned her head to cast a sidelong glance, softly speaking. This was indeed a very beautiful place. Su Xing knew that those splintered crystals were called Ice Heart Stones, a kind of very helpful stone for training ice-type cultivation methods. "You trained in this ever since you were young, it must have been very exhausting." Su Xing imagined a little girl shivering as she trained in the pool. Gong Kai Wei smiled. She turned around, waved her hand, and cold qi froze the cave entrance. "The cultivation method I trained is called the Ice Skin Jade Bone Chant. This is a kind of internal force, capable of resisting extreme cold. When I first cultivated it, I was so cold that I was unable to think, but after maturing, it can resist any cold. The sisters inside the Holy Palace have all cultivated this. Only Master Shu has achieved maturation. Kai Wei, have you also achieved it?" Su Xing recalled that Ying Mei said when they finally saw Gong Kai Wei at the Black Ice Abyss, there were very few cultivators that could enter that kind of extremely cold environment without any issue. At the time, Gong Kai Wei nevertheless appeared perfectly calm, even more easygoing than Lin Ying Mei. Gong Kai Wei nodded. She spoke of its use in helping Su Xing recover. After the ice skin jade bone matures, not only can it resist every kind of ice-cold environment, it can also stimulate internal forces to heal wounds, making the body recover without blemish. Su Xing was stunned. No wonder Gong Caiwei's skin was in such good condition, so delicate and satiny, without a single scar to be seen. "For treatment, I will transmit my internal force to you. The saber qi inside your body will also be dispelled by my internal force," Gong Kai Wei said. It sounded very simple yet also effective. Su Xing never imagined Gong Kaiwei Wao still have this kind of power. He happily said, "Then I'll have to ask for your help, Kaiwei. However, Su Xing, you must first strip all of your clothes and enter the center of the pool." Gong Kaiwei was somewhat helpless as she explained. The meaning of ice skin jade bone was that it was a cultivation method of skin and bone. To transmit internal force, it was necessary to make skin contact. There could be no obstacles at all, otherwise, the internal force would dissipate inside the body, wasting her efforts. Only by doing this could internal force penetrate skin and into bone, through his organs and meridians to be able to heal his injuries. To be more frank, the ice skin jade bone chant could only work by direct skin contact. This was quite obvious since the ice skin jade bone chant was inherently a type of cultivation method, not a medical art like life-returning magic hands. To arbitrarily activate it and heal a person's external and internal injuries was impossible. Su Xing thought for a moment. Stripping naked was not something to fuss over. He may as well treat himself like a patient. Furthermore, when he entered the military, he was required to strip naked for the physical evaluation. The nurse that did the checkup touched him all over. Compared to that, this was nothing. Su Xing very quickly took off all his clothes and set them aside. Seeing Su Xing's naked body, Gong Saiwei's face blushed, and she averted her gaze. Su Xing rubbed his hands. The pool's water was chilly to the bone, and his body had goosebumps. "Then what?" "You stand there and do not move," Gong Kaiwei said. Su Xing raised his chest and stood straight as a pine tree. Gong Saiwei's heart was restless. She stared at Su Xing, bit her lip tightly, yet she hesitated to speak. "Su Xing, do you remember the dragon's fluids back then?" Su Xing did not know why Gong Kaiwei would suddenly mention this. How could he have possibly forgotten about that? That was the first time he had intimate contact with a girl ever since he came to Liangshan continent. This nearly led to a disaster. Originally, Su Xing did not feel this way, but now that Gong Kaiwei mentioned it, his mind immediately recalled the girl's bare and coquettish appearance. His whole body quivered, and he hastily suppressed his lust. Kaiwei, you aren't still mad about that, are you?" Gong Kaiwei shook her head and smiled. "That day, you were able to resist the dragon's aphrodisiac and protect this princess' purity. This princess is not someone who cannot differentiate right and wrong. How can this princess blame you for that?" Changing the topic, "But Su Xing, you are the first man to see this princess body. Kaiwei is indeed somewhat brooding over that." Standing naked himself in the water, the girl nevertheless raised old events while she stood on the bank. Su Xing actually felt this atmosphere was very fishy. For a moment, he could not respond. Gong Saiwei's face was very red, yet she put on a magnanimous smile. "Since you could preserve this princess' purity back then under those circumstances, today, this princess shall use that purity to repay you. I already cannot give it to anyone else anyways," Gong Kaiwei thought to herself. Su Xing wrinkled his brow and sternly said, "Kaiwei, if this is dual cultivation, then forget about it." "This is not dual cultivation." Gong Kaiwei smiled. The immortal hero princess slowly exhaled and undid her clothes. Her underwear fell to the ground. A body seemingly carved with the most meticulous detail from the finest jade appeared in front of Su Xing. Thin and slender jade legs, impeccably white skin, a pink flush, dazzling eyes, flowing black hair, and an ice-cold temperament. She was like a fairy of the Guanghan Palace descended into the mundane world. Gong Kaiwei was still a bit shy. She subconsciously slightly concealed the sight between her thighs, but she was completely oblivious that this bit of bashfulness was even more enticing. Su Xing promptly shut his eyes. Even though he and Gong Kaiwei had close skinship a very long time ago, to once again see Gong Saiwei's snow-like body still brought Su Xing an enormous impulse. Gong Kaiwei slightly smiled. She delicately entered the water and walked before Su Xing. Her fragrance entered his nose, a flitting, unlimited tenderness. "Compared to your wives, can it be that this princess body is not worthy of your gaze?" Su Xing heard Gong Kaiwei was seemingly laughing. This is fine, I'm afraid I won't be able to hold back this time. Su Xing joked. As you please. Gong Kaiwei placed her palms upon Su Xing's chest. While Su Xing was startled by the girl's absolutely beautiful naked body, on the other hand, Gong Kaiwei's heartbeat was accelerating, nearly stifling her. Gong Kaiwei gently stroked the wounds Su Xing's received from battle, thinking to herself that this man's appearance had suffered greatly. She smiled, stepped forward and wrapped her arms around Su Xing. Her entire fair and graceful body then completely stuck to Su Xing. Her ice-cold skin met with a man's yang qi. Her plump jade peaks were firmly pushed down, and every piece of the girl's skin limply but tightly clung to Su Xing. No matter how much Su Xing used the absolute sincerity soul technique, his lower body could not avoid rearing its head. Having something hard jut at the fork of her thighs, Gong Kaiwei felt powerless from head to toe and melted against Su Xing's chest. If Gong Kaiwei was ice and snow, then Su Xing's yang fire was dissolving her bit by bit, turning them into one. Gong Kaiwei's legs slightly quivered, then tightly clamped together to avoid letting this man's vile thing commit evil. Then, the girl settled her mind, activating the ice skin jade bone chant. Every inch of Gong Kaiwei seemed to emit light. The ice skin jade bone's internal force suddenly flowed through the place where their skin touched. The pond's ice water made all of Su Xing's pores open, making the transmission of her internal forces even more smooth. Hold me tight. Otherwise, the internal force will leak and disperse. Gong Kaiwei panted. An ice-cold feeling flowed through his whole body. Su Xing only felt from Gong Kaiwei's skin a kind of icy chill. This chill dug into his entire body, entering his limbs and bones. Icicles seemed to fill his blood, and the cold made Su Xing breathe freezing air. Hearing Gong Kaiwei's words, Su Xing immediately hugged her tightly. Gong Kaiwei moaned, feeling her body emit cold qi, but her blood seemed to be on fire. Moaning softly, breathing as if through a straw, her mind was blank. The girl raised her head, watching Su Xing's tightly shut face settling his mind. She felt dizzy. In this life, Gong Kaiwei had never thought of giving her body over to a man, to let him hold her tight. Before this, if someone had said as such, she would have disdainfully sneered. Now that it actually happened, Gong Kaiwei felt that if it was this man in front of her, she would feel repulsed. Rather, she had been waiting for this for a long time. The girl tightly embraced Su Xing's neck, her fingers already interlocked. All of a sudden, Gong Kaiwei buried Su Xing's head in her own chest, embracing him as passionately as possible. Forgetting everything else, that scorching heartbeat only hoped he could understand. Liked it? This man truly is a professional, for a star master to surprisingly dead set on following him. Banzhuang watched Gong Kaiwei and Su Xing leave. She had heard their conversation and could not help but tease. Lord husband, what do you feel about this man? Bing Lingfeng had been preoccupied the entire time. Hearing Banzhuang's words, he returned to his senses. Wife, are you very intrigued by him? And can it be that Lord husband is not? Banzhuang matter-of-factly gazed at Wu Xiao and the others. To be able to contract so many high-level star generals, for even the majestic star and harm star that never signed contracts in 1,000 years to both call him Lord husband, to even be husband and wife in fact, it was impossible to not even be a bit curious. Especially after making contact with Su Xing, she felt this man was even more mysterious. Bing Lingfeng smiled. Banzhuang sensed his vexation and gently said, Lord husband, are you thinking about what happened between Banzhuang and him? Bing Lingfeng nodded, his voice very subdued. He truly was rude to wife. Banzhuang sat beside Bing Lingfeng, showing a tender expression to this man she called husband, the one she fought shoulder to shoulder through life and death. Lord husband, can it be you do not have faith in wife? Su Xing indeed is somewhat skilled. This was Banzhuang's carelessness. In the future, this will not happen again. I know. Bing Lingfeng was not an unreasonable person. On the contrary, towards this most beautiful star general, he had never dared to ask for too much. However, it was precisely because of this that Hu Banzhuang contrarily felt there was some distance in their relationship. Do not mention him. When we originally contracted, Banzhuang, it was because of my double sevens. I am very aware of this point. This is why this husband did not dare ask anything of you. To be able to stay by Banzhuang's side is already satisfaction enough. Bing Lingfeng recalled the old days, and he could not help but smile. Hu Banzhuang nodded. They already discussed this point very clearly when they originally signed their contract. There was no need to hide anything. The double sevens was capable of strengthening realm, star energy, and grant a heaven-earth dark yellow with a star master. This was very helpful for reaching the summit. Hu Banzhuang was not as inflexible as Lin Chong, Wu Song or others that guarded a martial general's so-called dignity. This was why she signed a contract with Bing Lingfeng. In those years, they killed every single tyrant in the star duels together. Hu Banzhuang put forth her best effort at playing the role of a virtuous wife. After the double sevens, they even addressed each other as husband and wife, only hoping that she could compensate for their unfamiliar relationship when they first contracted. However, they contracted to pass the double sevens, so they did not share senses like Su Xing and Hua Wanyue. Bing Lingfeng was also very empathetic, so much so that he reached a degree that made her helpless. Sometimes, Hu Banzhuang was unable to guess what he was thinking. Hu Banzhuang's fame overturned the heavens, so Bing Lingfeng bore enormous pressure. For the number one beauty in the world, how could Bing Lingfeng dare to ask for too much? Hu Banzhuang could not love just anyone, and neither could she have conviction in her hatred. Even her own star master was no exception. Although from an outsider's perspective, Bing Lingfeng could frequently accompany the most beautiful star general, in actuality, those two spoke more to each other before they had become the overlords in those star duels. What made Bing Lingfeng somewhat depressed was that the topics of their conversations now mostly revolved around Su Xing. Hu Banzhuang silently listened to Bing Lingfeng speak about past events. Banzhuang, I want to ask you a question. Bing Lingfeng suddenly said. Lord husband, please ask. Can it be you thought about becoming Lingfeng's wife? Hu Banzhuang smiled. Is Banzhuang not your wife right now? No. Bing Lingfeng shook his head. I mean the other kind. Can it be that Lord husband is unreconciled after seeing that Su Xing and his wives are actually that in fact? Although Hu Banzhuang slightly smiled, her eyes clearly showed she was displeased. This husband is not as frivolous as he is, to surprisingly do that in spite of a star general's star nest. Bing Lingfeng said, what this husband wants to ask is, Banzhuang, you once thought of genuinely and wholeheartedly being your servant's wife, not because of our contract. Bing Lingfeng was very aware of the reason he and Hu Banzhuang called each other husband and wife. Hu Banzhuang was silent. Although this man was very good, extremely good, able to make Liangshan continent's young beauties fall head over heels, to be his wife was impossible to achieve from Hu Banzhuang's perspective. Bing Lingfeng seemed to have anticipated this. He smiled and said, Lingfeng is somewhat greedy. Wife is not to blame. Hu Banzhuang smiled and shook her head. In these days where you tested Su Xing, have you noticed that you changed, wife? Changed? Hu Banzhuang did not understand. You are happy. You have never been like this. Bing Lingfeng was very clear about his memories in the star duels back then. Every time Hu Banzhuang fought, she showed great suffering. This did not originate from pain but from the sorrow of the sisters' mutual slaughter, so on a certain night, before a bonfire just like this, Hu Banzhuang said that if she could become overlord, she would wish to end the star duels. Of course, Bing Lingfeng empathetically agreed. It was a pity that ending the strife of the star duels was not so simple. Is that so? Hu Banzhuang did not deny this. This husband was wondering, if back then I treated you the same as Su Xing treats his own, would you have suffered as much? Lord husband, this cannot be. Banzhuang does not like frivolous men. He was frivolous to Banzhuang. In the future, Banzhuang shall make him pay the price. Hu Banzhuang smiled and said. So it turned out Lord husband was worried about Banzhuang. But only because of this. If Lord Husband is not satisfied, then Banzhuang shall go kill him right now. This husband does not mean this. Bing Lingfeng stood up, but I want to speak with him. Lord Husband actually wants to speak with him. Hu Banzhuang wrinkled her brow. Does wife feel Lingfeng is not as good as him? Be at ease. This husband is very impressed with his courage and spirit. I have a premonition that he can actually help achieve your wish, Banzhuang. Bing Lingfeng glanced profoundly at Hu Banzhuang. His silhouette flickered, and a cold wind rolled as he stepped towards the Ice Heart Cave. When Wu Xiao and the other girls saw Bing Lingfeng suddenly venture into the Ice Heart Cave, they immediately felt this bode ill. They rose and tried to stop him, but a wisp of light smoke passed at this moment. Lord Husband wishes to speak with your Lord Husband. Little sisters, please do not disturb them. If you actually interrupted them, then do not blame Banzhuang for showing no mercy. Hu Banzhuang held the 7-star golden wind and jade dew sabers, obstructing them. She completely displayed her highest realm, her powerful aura surprisingly making Wu Xiao and the others unable to advance. Bright star 10 feet of blue, 7th overlord Hu Banzhuang spoke in earnest. Hua Wanyue drew her bow, not hesitating at all to fire a 10,000 li god-killing arrow. Hu Banzhuang raised her hand, and without even looking, cut down this 10,000 li god-killing arrow. You didn't hold up your end of the agreement. Shi Yuan fumed. This is a matter between Lord Husbands. Banzhuang will not meddle, but for the last time, Banzhuang wants to help Lord Husband complete this wish. Hu Banzhuang calmly said. Wu Xiao said, you should know what it means for him to enter. You truly do not worry for your Lord Husband in the slightest. Hu Banzhuang slightly smiled. Why not wait and see? Wu Xiao looked at Hua Wanyue. The hero star bit her lip, still setting her bao dao in the end. Hu Banzhuang, you will regret this. This woman was very strong, but Hua Wanyue nevertheless had absolute faith in Su Xing. To be able to regret for once is fine, Hu Banzhuang leisurely said. Inside the Ice Heart Cave. Su Xing listened to Gong Saiwei's heartbeat and suddenly opened his eyes. What entered his sight was the girl's beautiful and plump breasts. Su Xing raised his head to stare into the girl's eyes, forcing Gong Kaiwei and himself to stare at each other. Gong Saiwei's heartbeat intensified. The girl still magnanimously said, Are you thinking about this princess' malicious words? No. Su Xing said. Then I'm thinking about whether or not I'll be able to devote myself to you. Su Xing looked at her, speaking softly. Gong Kaiwei was stunned. Her eyes grew moist, and her internal force nearly dispersed. She stuck her body even tighter to him and said in a low voice, You fool. Su Xing also felt very foolish. He kissed Gong Saiwei's lips and sucked. Gong Kaiwei did not resist, letting Su Xing do as he wanted. Her tongue hooked ecstatically, and her saliva seemed to melt. His hands holding Gong Kaiwei also intensely wandered, grabbing the girl's soft and supple butt. His lower body's lust swelled even larger. Gong Kaiwei moaned, shutting her eyes, feeling this man's hands grope her butt. That hard thing between her legs was about to penetrate her like an iron spear. Now and then, it collided with her sensitive spot, captivating Gong Kaiwei. The girl clamped down with her legs, wrapping her underbrush around that evil-doing spear. Her slender jade legs twisted, nearly making Su Xing's spear unleash. The two of them embraced each other even more intensely. Gong Saiwei's ice-skin jade bone chant released cold light, endlessly pouring her internal force into Su Xing, as if the two of them had melted together. At this moment, Su Xing was already unable to control his body and began to take initiative. His spear rubbed against that grassland. Like a spark, he seemed to start a wildfire, and a spring stream began to drip onto that spark. Not only was it unable to extinguish the blaze, on the contrary, it was like pouring oil onto a fire, making it even stronger. Gong Kaiwei was simply unable to believe this. She bit her lip and hugged Su Xing tightly. A long while after, Su Xing exhaled, finally stopping. At the same time, he kissed Gong Saiwei's snowy and soft red lips, making the girl's shuddering body receive comfort against his chest. Gong Kaiwei was practically unable to stand firmly. After a while, she opened her eyes and bashfully pummeled Su Xing's chest. Just now, that was only a small demonstration just now, now's when it really begins, Su Xing chuckled. He lifted Gong Kaiwei. The girl bit her lip and wrapped her legs around Su Xing's waist to avoid falling off. Feeling those intense flames, Gong Saiwei's body quivered. She lowered her gaze, full of charm and allure as she softly said, "From now on, this princess shall never owe you anything again, I owe you too much. Now, let me repay you." Su Xing gently said. Remembering Flower Dragon Cave, when faced with the dragon's aphrodisiac, Gong Kaiwei was a cold and elegant beauty unafraid of even death. Now, with the passage of time, she already had a bashful appearance. Su Xing's heart was full of tenderness, regret, and love. Just as his dragon was about to enter her cave, all of a sudden, Su Xing sensed a presence currently approaching this place. "Wifey, we'll have to do bedroom stuff later. This place really has no mood," Su Xing said. Gong Kaiwei agreed. Right now, because the two of them had intensely entwined, the ice-skin Jade bone's internal force had already been transmitted to Su Xing. His wounds were already restored. This ice-skin Jade bone internal force was indeed formidable. The organs injured by Hu Banzhuang's saber qi were already healed. Su Xing hastily carried Gong Kaiwei to the bank. The girl also sensed that someone was approaching. Jolted awake from this sweet atmosphere, she was aware her current appearance was disgraceful. Embarrassed, she ducked away. Then, she rolled on her underwear and dressed neatly into her palace dress. The girl's fair body was immediately concealed under clothes as bright as snow. "Have you not seen enough?" Gong Kaiwei recovered her normal appearance. Her smile was like a flower, yet it was much more relaxed than before. "Not enough." Su Xing nodded. "I will not let you see any more." Gong Kaiwei pursed her lip. "No way, wifey, but you clearly agreed to get in bed with me." Su Xing cried foul. "It would be better if you called me Kaiwei," Gong Kaiwei said with a red face. Just as Su Xing was about to reason with Gong Kaiwei, that person already arrived at this time. The ice wall immediately broke. "Your servant hopes he is not disturbing you too." A man appeared in the cave, gracefully asking. He was Bing Lingfeng. "You did. I was about to get intimate with my wife." "Your distinguished self, could you not be a third wheel?" Su Xing bluntly said. Bing Lingfeng seemed pensive. "Then your servant apologizes." He seemed to not have any intention of leaving. "Is there a reason you sought us out?" Gong Kaiwei was stern. "I want to chat with your lord husband." "Do you mind?" Bing Lingfeng said. Gong Kaiwei glanced at Su Xing. Su Xing nodded. "No." Hearing Gong Saiwei's tacit agreement to call him lord husband, Su Xing was secretly delighted. "Many thanks." Bing Lingfeng glanced at Su Xing. His hand gestured, and several hundred lights suddenly appeared. These lights were half green, half white, several qi in length. They were Bing Lingfeng's sword chant, 99 heavenly green earthly white flying swords. As a man, you should know that there is a price for taking advantage of another person's wife. Bing Lingfeng slightly smiled as he spoke. "I didn't do that on purpose." Su Xing wrinkled his brow. If it was not for Hu Banzhuang absolutely cornering him, he would not have done that. "On purpose or not, do you feel that matters?" Bing Lingfeng said. Su Xing agreed with his words. "Then you have come to take revenge first." Bing Lingfeng was super void peak. His flying swords were very powerful, and Su Xing's flying swords were still in the 5 elements array, unable to be used. Things were a bit thorny. Without wasting time on small talk, Bing Lingfeng gestured. The 99 heavenly green earthly white flying swords became the 2 colors of white and green, crisscrossing Su Xing from the left and right. How could Gong Kaiwei let him take action? Just as the girl was about to use her powers, to counter the flying swords, Su Xing said to her, Kaiwei, don't do anything. This is a grudge between him and me. Gong Kaiwei hesitated but still nodded and withdrew. She knew that Su Xing had a plan. Seeing the heavenly green earthly white flying swords approach, Su Xing was not afraid. He did not have flying swords, but he had many abilities. Let alone that he had just recovered from his injuries, he had also been making out with Gong Kaiwei. His energy was truly surging with no place to release. Seeing Bing Lingfeng's flying swords attack, Su Xing's left hand struck. Purple Fiend erupted and entangled the flying swords. The purple star transforming Qi was one of Liangshan continent's most mysterious powers. The Purple Fiend realm's purple Qi was comparable to an attack flying sword. Su Xing formed a hand seal, and Purple Fiend released countless sharp blades. Bing Lingfeng motioned with his hand. Green and white lights crisscrossed towards Purple Fiend. Bing Lingfeng was powerful, though. His cultivation and magic energy were strong, surprisingly blowing Purple Fiend asunder. However, Su Xing's attack did not stop there. He immediately struck again, attacking with Purple Mansion Immortal Thunder. The Purple Mansion Immortal Thunder detonated. This combination of Purple Star transforming Qi and Blooming Water Divine Thunder was exceptionally mighty. Bing Lingfeng smiled and snapped his fingers. A bolt of thunder exploded, like ice and frost. Blooming Ice Divine Thunder. Gong Kaiwei was stunned. Liked it? This chapter is updated by Novelfree.ml. This chapter is updated by Novelfree. ML, Blooming Ice Divine Thunder. Gong Kaiwei was very surprised. One of the 5 Spirits Law Heavenly Books water volumes had records of an ice and snow ability. This Blooming Ice Divine Thunder was like frost, its mighty and terrifying icy Qi was capable of freezing. Ordinary powers were completely unable to defeat it. The Extreme Ice Holy Palace had an ability called Black Ice Divine Thunder, which was derived from this, but it was not as authentic as the Blooming Water. She never imagined this seemingly gentle man would unexpectedly also have this kind of astonishing thunder. It was known that the Blooming Water's ice thunder was extremely difficult to train. The Blooming Ice Divine Thunder struck. Icy Qi extinguished the lightning of the Purple Mansion Immortal Thunder. Following the descent of the ice thunder, it surprisingly froze all spiritual power. For a time, this made Su Xing feel troubled. Su Xing activated the meditative mind lotus flower, opening the treasure of the Buddha kingdom. A Buddhist light attacked the Blooming Ice Divine Thunder. Bing Lingfeng continued to use his powers. The ice heart cave's cold air condensed, and countless ice lotuses bloomed. These flowers were sparkling and translucent, like an ice sculpture, filling empty space. Su Xing similarly formed purple lotuses out of the Purple Mansion Immortal Thunder. Using the Divine Thunder to form lotus shapes was the most common attack method of Liangshan continent's cultivators because the lotus flower could be controlled freely and was capable of offense and defense. Purple and ice lotuses spun around each other, then collided. An ice flame and purple Qi burst like fireworks in the air. But Bing Lingfeng's Blooming Ice Divine Thunder was nevertheless formidable. Besides breaking the purple lotus flower, that remaining ice Qi was still thoroughly sharp, falling straight towards Su Xing, accompanying the heavenly green earthly white flying swords, one snow before disgrace sword array, forcing Su Xing into a dead end. An Overlord Star Master was worthy of the title, but the simplest of his powers were very formidable to Su Xing. Against any other Star Master, Bing Lingfeng could indeed suppress them, but Su Xing had countless abilities. Su Xing pointed a hand. The Qi of a purple fiend even more chilling than before fired from empty space. This purple fiend was like a dragon, glistening like an auspicious cloud, but its thickness was somewhat astonishing. It was at least a full size larger than the purple fiend from before, like an enormous blade. Even though Bing Lingfeng had the appearance of one on the bottom in front of Banzhuang, he had learned from the Black Ice Abyss. In the star duels, he did not know how many confrontations he had with others. His experience was not inferior to Su Xing's, but seeing Su Xing utilize such a large purple fiend, he was still surprised. Despite his shock, Bing Lingfeng's reactions were swift. Knowing that he was too late to dodge it, he opened his mouth and breathed out white qi. It condensed into a wall above his head. Several hundred layers of green clouds appeared in the dozen zhang above, gathering into a thick barrier, firmly stopping the slash of Su Xing's giant purple fiend blade. At the same time, he formed a hand seal. The one snow before disgrace sword array promptly surrounded Su Xing. These heavenly green earthly white flying swords formed 2 layers of heavenly green and earthly white, flipping each other upside down. Sword light interlocked, sprinkling white light like a waterfall of snow, pouring down a torrent. Su Xing was left with no choice but to use the meditative mind lotus flower. Blossom of the Buddha Kingdom, the colored glass pure land that could be considered a miniature world shielded Su Xing within. The sword light attacked, but the Buddha Kingdom's light stalled it. Su Xing urged on his magic energy. Golden lotuses bubbled forth as he chanted. Bing Lingfeng was naturally aware of the might of Su Xing's meditative mind lotus flower. Buddhism's strongest ability, it was practically the supreme masterpiece of its great way. Bing Lingfeng truly did not understand how a layman like him could feel like a shameless hoodlum, how he could be a man capable of comprehending Buddhism. It was too late to dwell on this. Without even looking, Bing Lingfeng raised his hands, activating his magic weapon, Black Dragon Ring. The ring flashed, unleashing a several zhang long crystalline black ice dragon. The dragon breathed cold air, forming a profound array in the air. That array flickered and faded in the air. The next instant, it reappeared above Su Xing's head. That array became a circle that trapped Su Xing within. Cold air flourished in the circle, extremely chilling. A breath of air became a thick sheet of ice, freezing Su Xing inside. Upon feeling that ice-cold air, Su Xing immediately knew that this was surprisingly forged from thousand-year black ice. This was the Bing Lingfeng who once was in Liangshan continent's coldest places. Under the black ice abyss ice, he found thousand-year black ice. Afterwards, he slayed a gigantic black ice dragon. He used a secret art to imbue the dragon's soul into this black ice, creating the Black Dragon Ring, forged from the thousand-year black ice, the Black Ice Dragon, and Bing Lingfeng's own cold qi. These were all very cold items in Liangshan, and under his many years of care, the cold qi reached a frightening level. Upon using it, flying swords and magic weapons would all freeze into powder, let alone a person. However, Bing Lingfeng knew himself. He knew that relying on this frightening thing would not be able to trap the purple thunder monster that exchanged 100 blows with an overlord. At the same time Su Xing was frozen, Bing Lingfeng shouted and formed a hand seal. Cold wind poured into his whole body, which then blew in all directions. Simultaneously, several hundred blooming ice divine thunder appeared. Blooming ice divine thunder, art of attracting thunder. So incredible. Gong Kaiwei was secretly astounded at Bing Lingfeng's powers. I want to see just how you can satisfy Banzhuang. Bing Lingfeng roared. The blooming ice divine thunder, art of attracting thunder, formed a heavenly net that plunged towards the Su Xing encased in ice. This attack was at full power. A ray of Buddhist light shot out from the ice. A colored glass flower bloomed, and the thick layer of ice was completely melted. White vapor rushed out of the cave towards that pool and was frozen. With that black dragon ring in place, a golden figure emerged from the mist. A golden Buddhist light wrapped up the black dragon. This black dragon ring of thousand-year black ice was perhaps useful against other cultivators, but Su Xing had refined 10,000-year black ice. How could he be trapped by this thousand-year black ice, let alone when he had just received Gong Caiwei's ice skin jade bone internal force? At the moment, his internal force was overflowing, and he was fearless of the cold. Seeing the blooming ice divine thunder's ability covered the entire cavern. Su Xing was afraid that Gong Kaiwei would be affected and used Empress Tu to protect her. Gong Kaiwei saw warm earth qi surround her, forming Empress Tu's true body. She was helpless towards this man's kindness, but at the same time, she was greatly relieved. Su Xing then sneered. At the same time, Su Xing struck a hand seal. Several hundred purple fiends simultaneously attacked. With a heaven-shaking rumble, the dozen zhang of space around Su Xing surprisingly exploded into a pitch-black hole. Bing Lingfeng fiercely blew a breath, creating a gale. In an instant, he blew away this blackness. All of the light and noise entirely vanished. At the same time, Su Xing had vanished into it. Not good. Bing Lingfeng's heart stopped. A silhouette attacked. Su Xing already was on the assault holding the dragon sparrow Duel saber. Bing Lingfeng's magic energy was profound, and his powers were also variable. If he put forth everything, even the meditative mind lotus flower, purple mansion immortal thunder, purple fiend, and instant frost flame were very hard-pressed. Therefore, Su Xing settled on using old-fashioned ways. Naturally, that would be to cut him up with a blade. After 100 bouts with Banzhuang, the current Su Xing could be said to be full of self-confidence. Dragon blood frontline. The long sword slashed, and the ice lake in the cavern raised a wave of blood. This wave surged, shaking apart all of the ice. A blood light passed through the cave, flying like a dragon sparrow. This dragon blood frontline came very suddenly, but Bing Lingfeng nevertheless had Banzhuang's innate skill light smoke dance steps. This man's reactions were very swift, evading the sneak attack like a wisp of smoke. Then, his wrist flipped, revealing a magic weapon. This treasure was a dark red whip, completely maroon in color. All along its length were thorns, emitting a black aura of evil. It was difficult to imagine that this graceful and refined Bing Lingfeng would unexpectedly have such a wicked treasure. Even Su Xing was very surprised. When Gong Kaiwei looked, she realized this weapon's history. Su Xing, be careful, it is the immortal murdering whip. Immortal murdering whip? The name sounded like it was very awesome. Hey! Bing Lingfeng struck immediately. As he shouted, a bloody, evil light rushed out from the whip. Ghastly cries echoed in the cave, and an evil wind blew. The shrieks were blood-curdling as a blood-red light descended. A whip that was like a heavenly pillar cut across the space between them. Directly striking at Su Xing, Su Xing's expression was solemn. Seeing that immortal murdering whip's boundless power, he did not feel flustered at all. He raised his hand and blocked using the dragon sparrow Duel saber. The originally 100 zhang long dragon blood frontline was minuscule before the immortal murdering whip. Su Xing's full strength was shaken, blood shooting out of his body like a fountain. What an incredible magic weapon! Although the dragon sparrow Duel saber was capable of resisting, but the immortal murdering whips might nevertheless pass through the star weapon to strike Su Xing himself. Bing Lingfeng stood in midair, his blue robes fluttering. The man's eyes were stern, his gaze ice-cold as he raised his hand. The immortal murdering whip was brandished again. A ray of blood light pierced through space. Swift as lightning. It appeared to be a simple whip, but each strike consumed vast amounts of Bing Lingfeng's magic energy. The might of one strike was comparable to being struck 100 times by a star weapon. Bang! Earthly chi burst around Su Xing's whole body. The immortal murdering whip struck it and stirred up dust. The Empress Tu protecting Gong Kaiwei pointed a finger to protect Su Xing with a barrier. Although the immortal murdering whip was strong, the Empress Tu Earth Book's defenses were nothing to scoff at. Bing Lingfeng whipped several times. Bloodlight flashed, and he also guided his flying swords to arrange his strongest sword array, snow blowing under heaven sword array. The heavenly green earthly black flying swords became countless cold lights, raining specks of ice and snow. Su Xing was shocked. The Empress Tu Earth Book was surprisingly about to break from the consecutive attacks. He knew that this Bing Lingfeng was very formidable, as expected. He had originally planned to use his Earth Book against Banzhuang, but it was unexpectedly about to falter here. It was a pity he did not have flying swords. This made Su Xing somewhat at wit's end. Several times later, the earth chi was already about to dissipate. Su Xing seized upon the gap between Bing Lingfeng's attacks to instantly close the distance and use his saber to settle things. Bang! Bing Lingfeng reacted extremely quickly. One attack of the immortal murdering whip landed on Su Xing, surprisingly knocking aside the meditative mind lotus flower. Su Xing suffered the attack head-on. Blood bubbled into his throat, but he remained steadfast. When Bing Lingfeng saw this man's ferocity, he hastily manipulated his flying swords again, but Su Xing was already in front of him. Bing Lingfeng knew that Su Xing's martial arts were very strong, so he did not dare face him at close range. He hastily raised the immortal murdering whip again and entangled the dragon sparrow Duelong saber. Su Xing was without a weapon, yet he clenched his fists. With light smoke dance steps dazzling Bing Lingfeng's eyes, Su Xing vanished. By the time he was aware of it, Su Xing was already on his flank, his fists descending like rain. His punches were ferocious, each blow swift and severe. The cold cloud array above Bing Lingfeng's head suddenly broke. To be able to smash through his super void peak power using only a fist, Bing Lingfeng did not dare believe his eyes. Su Xing's punch boomed, smashing towards Bing Lingfeng's head. Bing Lingfeng withdrew, extending his hand to use another ability, Immortal Giving Directions. A speck of spirit light burst from his finger. But Su Xing's realm was far greater than Bing Lingfeng had thought. This absolutely accurate Immortal Giving Directions attack surprisingly failed to strike the target for the first time. So fast, Bing Lingfeng grit his teeth. Moving his divine intent, his flying swords all spun in the surroundings to erect a defensive formation. Then, he swung the whip, waving it through empty space. Bloodlight attacked, erratic and unpredictable. Struggling for a while, Su Xing then pulled back. Bing Lingfeng's defense was impenetrable, as expected of someone with overlord status. Regardless of offense or defense, he executed both very perfectly. Even a martial general would be very hard-pressed to kill him. This man was very calm and very observant of his surroundings. He practically did not have a weakness. Perhaps he had been with Banzhuang for so long, but the two of them actually somewhat wished to die. He had studied her advantages, and he surprisingly was somewhat at a loss of where to start. Bing Lingfeng at this time began to pant. The immortal murdering whip had consumed too much magic energy. Although his magic energy had become very profound from killing so many top-notch martial generals, so many that even Emperor Liang would not be comparable, the immortal murdering whip was used once too many times now. But Bing Lingfeng still bitterly persevered, knowing that if he did not use the immortal murdering whip, he would instead be in danger. This man's speed was too fast, and his realm was also very exceptional. So strange was he in many ways that it was impossible to predict everything. This could not help but make Bing Lingfeng recall when he fought Jade, Qilin, Lu Jiyue and Yan Gaiying. For the sake of helping lessen the burden on his wife, he stalled Yan Gaiying. At that time, he was nearly killed by this skillful star, and it was at that time Banzhuang risked her life to block Yan Gaiying's powerful punch. It was after this that the Bing Lingfeng that harbored feelings of guilt was even less able to face Banzhuang's tenderness. Recalling the past, Bing Lingfeng lost focus. "Where are your thoughts straying?" Su Xing interrupted. "Has anyone ever told you that your martial arts can surpass a star general?" Bing Lingfeng asked. "Are you scared?" Su Xing smiled. Bing Lingfeng smiled as well. "You indeed make me feel frightened, but not because of your martial arts." Su Xing did not understand his meaning. Bing Lingfeng did not elaborate. "You wish to end the star duels. If you can kill me, then I will give you a word of advice. I don't want to kill you, so as to avoid your wife's vengeance." Su Xing answered. The important thing was that he feared this Banzhuang would retaliate. For the time being, it was necessary to maintain this sort of relationship. Bing Lingfeng knew Su Xing's meaning, but he did not lose his smile at all. "Then I shall kill you and your wives." Saying this, he cracked the immortal murdering whip and attacked Gong Kaiwei. Empress Tu fanned her sleeve, and Earthly Chi countered. Bang! Empress Tu was shaken, pale in the face. Empress Tu and Su Xing shared a life-cast link now that she had been refined into a projection, similarly suffering damage. Seeing him raise his hand against Gong Kaiwei, Su Xing also showed his killing intent. Then great. I'll oblige you. Seeing Su Xing's divine intent move, a starlight flew out from his astral bag. This light appeared in Su Xing's hand. It was a dagger fashioned after a Qilin. Su Xing took hold of the dagger and attacked. Bing Lingfeng once again wielded the whip. Bloodlight flashed and pulled towards Su Xing. Su Xing stabbed with the dagger in his hand. Something inconceivable happened. The Bing Lingfeng, who had thought he could easily repel it, was astonished to discover that the immortal murdering whip surprisingly was unable to break it. On the contrary, that bloodlight scattered. The immortal murdering whip cried. It unexpectedly gave him a burning pain, causing Bing Lingfeng's hand to quiver. The immortal murdering whip fell out of his hand. Su Xing was already in front of him at this moment. Liked it? The dagger in Su Xing's hand was forged by Tang Lianxin using the water of Qilin destruction, serving as a prototype for the dragon element flying sword of the sun, moon, star, and dragon swords. This sword was like limpid autumn waters, elegant and graceful. The water of Qilin destruction could poison to death even a holy beast like a Qilin. This, Qilin destruction, dagger in of itself contained enormous power. Neither magic weapon nor holy beast could easily touch it. This was why Bing Lingfeng's immortal murdering whip was shaken out from his hand upon contact with the dagger. However, similarly, it was very difficult for Su Xing to use this Qilin destruction. He could only use it for a short time and was unable to sustain it for too long. Originally, this Qilin destruction was Su Xing's trump card against Banzhuang. However, he had no choice but to use it against this Bing Lingfeng. This Bing Lingfeng's cultivation was very strong, and his powers also did not lose out to Su Xing. There was no good ending to their deadlock, so Su Xing decided to end this battle with all swiftness. The sword array around Bing Lingfeng assumed a defensive formation. A supervoid peak spiritual power glowered from his whole body. Su Xing was unable to help being forced back. Su Xing's face complexion turned green. He formed a hand seal, and, Qilin destruction, released a Qilin treading on beautiful, gleaming light waves. Bing Lingfeng promptly released blooming ice divine thunder. Qilin destruction flashed, eliminating the blooming ice divine thunder and entangling with the 99 heavenly green earthly white flying swords. These life-cast flying swords were affected by the Qilin destruction's poison at a mere touch. Bing Lingfeng's complexion was immediately pale and on the verge of collapse. He had no choice but to concentrate his divine intent on controlling the flying swords. If he was even the slightest bit careless, this Qilin destruction could surprisingly break his flying swords. Su Xing then attacked with instant frost flame. Bing Lingfeng waved his hand. The blooming ice divine thunder was surprisingly toppled by the instant frost flame. His arm was instantly frozen. Su Xing immediately followed up with several purple fiends. The blade-like purple fiends pierced through Bing Lingfeng's body. The flying sword formation broke, and the Qilin destruction ran straight through his chest. But this man was also very surly. Even under such a difficult situation, he did not change expression. He used immortal giving directions. Spirit light flit by. Relying on the vast magic energy of his supervoid peak, he surprisingly repelled Qilin destruction with a finger. But Su Xing's ability did not end. Basically not giving him a chance, after his immortal giving directions passed, Su Xing already arrived in front of him using his own superb realm. His left hand brushed over the dragon sparrow Duel saber's tip while his right hand swung it down. At close range with the Su Xing, who was able to trade blows with an overlord and without defenses, Bing Lingfeng currently had only one ending. He was cut down by the sword, already heavily wounded. You have already lost. Do you still want to fight? Su Xing wrinkled his brow and asked. Bing Lingfeng rose with difficulty. A deep sword wound ran from his shoulder to his waist. Su Xing was very bewildered as to why Bing Lingfeng would suddenly come to die without rhyme or reason. Could it truly be because of what happened with Banzhuang? If that was actually the case, then it ought to be Banzhuang herself who had come to take revenge. Why bother ordering her lord husband to die? Don't tell me you're hiding this from Banzhuang. You want me to kill you, to make Banzhuang help avenge you? Su Xing thought this was a possibility. Bing Lingfeng said nothing. If wife will help avenge your servant, then this would have been worth it. If she does not help, then there is nothing to regret in dying right now. Because he can't face reality, so right now after dying he can have a hope. Su Xing stroked his chin while deep in thought. He was less able to surmise what this man was thinking right now. This couple was indeed somewhat odd. To end the star duels, you must have her climb the mountain. Otherwise, those are empty words. Bing Lingfeng suddenly spoke. Her. Su Xing was taken aback. Bing Lingfeng's expression turned cold, and he suddenly shouted. The 99 flying swords once again circled around and stabbed into the ground. A majestic magic energy once again charged. The entire cave began to freeze over. When Su Xing saw that he was still not giving up, unwilling to stop, Su Xing clenched his hand. Several dozen purple fiends appeared around Bing Lingfeng. These purple fiends pierced through Bing Lingfeng, running through his body like lances. The strength of Bing Lingfeng's consciousness was frightening, to surprisingly still not collapse even after being turned to honeycomb by Su Xing's purple fiend. In the end, this poised and elegant man used a hand to point a finger. Activating his most beautiful, immortal giving directions, in this life. Spirit light spurt forth. In this narrow space, Su Xing had no way to evade. He was pierced through the chest by the spirit light. Bing Lingfeng's third was also the strongest immortal giving directions, finally scoring a hit on Su Xing. Su Xing only felt his heart violently swell, about to burst. This is bad. Su Xing's complexion changed. Bang! A loud noise. A glistening yellow earthly chi suddenly erupted from Su Xing's body. Su Xing. Gong Kaiwei's beautiful face lost its color. She immediately dashed over. Banzhuang, I'll finally have helped you. This husband shall take his leave first. Bing Lingfeng muttered, his true spirit promptly dissipating. Su Xing, Su Xing. Gong Kaiwei waved her hand, scattering that yellow chi filling the air, her heart very worried. The immortal giving directions of a supervoid peak magic energy, she was somewhat unable to imagine what result that would bring. The always cool as frost and composed girl was incomparably flustered at this moment until she heard those comforting words. I'm all right. Su Xing coughed a few times. The earthly chi vanished. He appeared with a relatively sorry figure. I thought you had been struck by his immortal giving directions just now. Gong Kaiwei covered her chest, slowly composing herself. Nevertheless, Su Xing had a bitter smile. What is the matter? I may as well have lost to this Bing Lingfeng. Su Xing helplessly said. Gong Kaiwei did not understand. Su Xing had killed him, why did he say he lost? Su Xing turned over his wrist. The Empress Tu Earth book appeared. When Gong Kaiwei looked, her expression as solemn. The Empress Tu Earth book did not have its profound spiritual aura that normally surrounded it. The Earth book was dim and without light. The earthly chi was also extremely weak, as if it could be blown away at any moment. And when this Earth book appeared, the Earth book's true spirit Empress Tu did not appear either. As it turned out, Bing Lingfeng's final immortal giving directions did strike Su Xing. The meditative mind lotus flower was unable to block it. In every sense, this man was indeed a ruthless character. This attack completely encapsulated the mutual strike mindset, using all of his magic energy to kill Su Xing. If it was any other cultivator, Bing Lingfeng definitely could have achieved this goal. Su Xing could only use external projection at the last moment, summoning Empress Tu to ward off this disaster. Then Empress Tu is dead? Gong Kaiwei said in shock. If it's my external projection, yes. Su Xing nodded. The Earth book's true spirit had developed with the passage of time. To completely destroy it was very unlikely. Su Xing could only recultivate the Empress Tu projection. However, the true spirit had still met with severe damage. For the time being, the Earth Book was unusable, and to restore the Earth Book's true spirit would require other means. That was why Su Xing said he had been defeated by Bing Lingfeng. This practically invincible thick book had turned into such a state. This duel's final result lost him the Earth Book, making Su Xing very gloomy. His sole comfort was in Bing Lingfeng's immortal murdering whip. As long as you are all right. Since the Earth Book's true spirit can recover, the earthly solitary star ought to have a way. Gong Kaiwei shook her head. She had nearly been scared to death just now. This man surprisingly was still hurt over Empress Tu, which truly made her speechless. However, he mentioned just now that to end the star duels, she has to scale the mountain. Who is this she? Gong Kaiwei wrinkled her brow. Su Xing was pensive. Outside the Ice Heart Cave, Wu Xiao and Hua Wanyue continued to face Hu Banzhuang. Neither side made any moves, merely stared at each other. From the bursts of power emanating from the Ice Heart Cave, no one showed the slightest change. Whether it was Wu Xiao or Hu Banzhuang, everyone was abnormally calm. A long while after, a figure emerged. "Milord." Hua Wanyue's expression was overjoyed. Hu Banzhuang was expressionless. Su Xing already finished his most evil plan against this woman, but Hu Banzhuang did not have such a plan. She only glanced at Su Xing, turned and walked over to her bonfire. That beautiful figure had an unspeakable loneliness. Whether it was Su Xing or Wu Xiao, everyone could not help but feel moved by her. "Hu Banzhuang, won't you take revenge for your lord husband?" Su Xing called after her. Seeing her so sad and depressed, he actually would rather fight her. Lord husband would never allow Banzhuang to take revenge. Hu Banzhuang turned her head back, expressionless. In front of Su Xing's skepticism, she leisurely smiled, because he knows that Banzhuang has never hated. Su Xing was astonished. He saw through the intense murderous aura in Hu Banzhuang's eyes, wrinkling his brow. "Are you lying?" Banzhuang regrets. Hu Banzhuang smiled. Regret without hatred. Two Immortals Mountain. White clouds rolled about, a clear breeze blew. A flock of red-crowned cranes flew by, and other birds rushed about. Two mountain peaks stood tall and straight, towering over a sea of clouds, graceful and free of filth, like an otherworldly adept. Two girls sat atop these two peaks. One girl was dressed in simple yellow clothes. She had a refined and natural aura. She seemed to be one with this immortal mountain, giving people a feeling that this mountain was her and she was this mountain. The other girl was dressed in phoenix cloud clothing, similarly of a refined temperament, neither joyous or sorrowful. She calmly looked at the rolling clouds of the mountains. The two girls were young in age, yet they gave off an otherworldly aura, one that made people bow in worship. The girl wearing the cloud clothing was none other than Leisure Star Dragon in the Clouds Gongsun Sheng. This place was her heavenly book dream, the former volume trial. To summarize, after she entered the heavenly book dream, Gongsun Huang also easily progressed to the former volume's trial, but this trial was very strange. She met a girl calling herself Daoist Luo. The two traded blows for a while, and Gongsun Huang was defeated. According to common sense, if she was defeated, then she ought to have departed from the heavenly book, but that adorable Daoist Luo girl invited Gongsun Huang to go to Two Immortals Mountain to comprehend Tao. Gongsun Huang did not refuse. Thereupon, she followed her to this mountain. Who knew for how long this deep meditation went on for? The clouds rolled, the wind blew. Finally, after a long time, Gongsun Huang opened her eyes. "Why do you not meditate?" The girl spoke, her voice experienced yet not without a girl's crispness. "Master, His Highness is in trouble. I must return." Gongsun Huang blinked. "His Highness?" Daoist Luo smiled. "We are people who cultivate the Tao, why serve a highness? He is little Huang's highness." Gongsun Huang was not in the mood to discuss this topic, so she calmly indicated she would not reply any further. The girl slightly smiled. Over the past few days, little Huang, your realm has increased considerably. However, while you may go find your highness, this teacher must assess your progress. Gongsun Huang grunted. Liked it? After Bing Lingfeng's true spirit dissipated, Hu Banzhuang still fulfilled her promise, each time giving Su Xing some trials to improve his martial arts. As far as the Bright Star's conduct was concerned, Su Xing did not understand whether he should admire Hu Banzhuang's upstanding character or to criticize her detachment. However, the trials every day became very severe afterwards. Then, from the Heavenly Book's 23rd to 25th days, Lin Yingmei, Gongsun Huang, Hun Yangzi, and Yan Yizhen awoke one after another from their Heavenly Book dreams. The wives were both happy and worried. Lin Yingmei naturally would not disappoint Su Xing in her Heavenly Books. Gongsun Huang and Hun Yangzi also each obtained former volume Heavenly Books. Lin Yingmei defeated Wang Jin, and after leaving the Heavenly Books, her realm had already reached True Phoenix 4th stage, but seeing how intense this battle was, how difficult Lin Yingmei's fight was, by the time the Heavenly Books ended, if Lin Yingmei then refined the 3 Heavenly Books, her realm could reach 6th stage and above by the 7 Stars Assembly. Hun Yangzi fought 300 bouts with Luan Yenyu. Although she was defeated in the end, she nevertheless earned Luan Yenyu's admiration and still obtained the Heavenly Book. With a 6-star weapon in hand, her realm and martial arts were still inferior to only Lin Yingmei. Her own realm had reached True Phoenix 2nd stage. Gongsun Huang battled the Taoist Luo 3 times and did not fail to earn recognition. What was surprising was that skillful star Yan Yizhen had unexpectedly lost. The Li Shishir that Yan Yizhen fought against was a formidable character. Her fan technique was perfect. Even the True Phoenix 1st stage Yan Yizhen had been defeated, but Li Shishir admired Yan Yizhen's skill in musical instruments. In the end, she still passed the trial. Since the Heavenly Books were a trial, after everyone passed through difficult battles, their realms were increased even if they had been defeated. On the 26th day, knowledge star Wu Xinjie also awakened. The Wu Xinjie who possessed the 8 gates black gold chain unsurprisingly obtained her former volume Heavenly Book. Her trial was the most troublesome. This was a complicated 5 elements Bagua book. For this reason, she rushed all over the place making plans. Robbing the convoy of birthday gifts, burning the minister's mansion, using a wedge plan, breaking the chain horses, inviting the hermit in the rain for the 5 elements trial, this used a very long time. In this way, in the 5 elements array, only solitary star Lu Shaking and efficacious star Ansuan were still in the Heavenly Books. If it could be said that Lu Shaking loved to meditate, then perhaps she would take a little longer to comprehend her Heavenly Book, but that the efficacious star used such a long time made everyone worried and curious. Fortunately, on the Heavenly Book's 29th day, Ansuan finally awakened. The efficacious star opened her eyes and immediately received meticulous inquiries from everyone. Little sister, you finally woke up. You didn't run into some trouble in the dream, did you? Su Xing asked with concern. And Suan bashfully answered, Big brother, Suan did not run into any trouble. Suan, just what sort of trial did you encounter in the Heavenly Book? Wu Xinjie curiously asked, could it have been more troublesome than mine? In actuality, Ansuan's trial was not difficult, just helping examine people. However, these people were nevertheless very familiar. All of them were star-fallen girls that had once battled Su Xing. From the very first red-haired devil Lu Qinger, to the all-out berserker daredevil third brother Shi Xiuxiu, they asked Ansuan for prescriptions and needed the divine physician to search for these herbs. These herbs were not simple and were the reason Ansuan was delayed for so long. However, in the end, the girl obtained her Heavenly Book. To meet with star-fallen girls made Su Xing very surprised. Everyone just smiled and said that Suan's trial was very peculiar. Since this was the case, Zhang Yuqi was depressed to discover that out of everyone who had comprehended their Heavenly Books, only she did not obtain the former volume Heavenly Book. Sister Shaking still has not awakened? And Suan softly asked. Wonder what her trial is, to have lasted so long. Zhang Yuqi shrugged. Maybe she is meditating to comprehend it. All of the girls smiled. Hers could not be so ridiculous, could it? But the damaged star's words were honestly correct. Currently, Lu Shaking sat upright in a minister's temple. In front of her was a Bodhi tree 1,000 zhang tall. Lu Shaking shut her eyes in deep meditation. For her former volume Heavenly Book Trial, after she punched to death a rampant Zhenguanxi on the very first day, she kept sitting in meditation under the Bodhi tree of the Prime Minister. Up until now. The polo petals opened, withering and falling into the wind, fluttering around Lu Shaking. After a long while of silence, Lu Shaking slowly opened her eyes, expressionless. Her limpid eyes looked at the giant willow tree in front of her. Must I pull it out by the roots? The girl muttered. The wind rose, and the flowers fell. That is the 7th generation's most beautiful star general. Hu Banzhuang. Wu Xinjie looked straight at Hu Banzhuang, her expression interested, full of astonishment. Su Xing spoke to them about the trial. Hearing that Hu Banzhuang was unexpectedly helping Su Xing improve his martial arts, everyone was incredulous. Could it be that Maiden Mountain has encountered trouble and wants to borrow young lord's assistance? Wu Xinjie and Su Xing thought the same. Su Xing was not clear on this, but no matter what, over these days, his martial arts skill had similarly progressed very quickly, not inferior to the wives in the heavenly books. Nyangzi, this is your predecessor. We should properly consult her for advice. Wu Xinjie giggled. Hu Nyangzi stared at Hu Banzhuang, her eyes containing grief. Hu Banzhuang also saw Hu Nyangzi. Compared to Hu Nyangzi's grief, Banzhuang slightly smiled and showed her most beautiful aspect. Beauty that could topple a nation. Ambition that could topple a country. Wu Xinjie said that she had been moved as well. To have such a magnificent elder sister, she honestly did not want to be enemies. Su Xing was also familiar from experience. From these days of contact, while Hu Banzhuang was very strict with Su Xing on the surface, even using killing techniques, no matter what, this was all to secretly help him. Su Xing had quite the favorable impression of her. Other than the second generation's Gongsun Zhu Qing and Yuan Xingliang, these frenemy relationships were very strange. However, cruel things always came last. 28th day of the heavenly books. Su Xing and Hu Banzhuang once again stood on the sparring field. I can handle this times 300 bouts. Bring out your heaven and earth ranks for company. Su Xing loftily said. Now, only Lu Shaking sat alone in meditation. His might suddenly swelled, and his martial arts had increased in speed. Right now, he was also full of self-confidence. Hu Banzhuang showed an alluring smile. Her figure was already fading like mist. This was the sign that her true spirit was on the verge of dispersing. Today will be the final trial. You're finally bringing out your true skills. Su Xing nodded. Although he knew that this day would come, to actually hear Hu Banzhuang say so still made Su Xing considerably sad for this most beautiful star general. Originally, Banzhuang wanted to wait until the wives had all awakened, however, not it seems I cannot wait for such a time. Hu Banzhuang was pensive. She waved her hands, and the 7-star golden wind and jade dew appeared in her hands. This time, your servant will not allow you to tease young master so easily. Ling Yingmei at once stepped forward, her aura as chilling as ice. When she spoke, Hu Nyangzi, Yan Yizhen, Wu Xinjie, Hua Wanyue, and Wu Xiao also brought out their own star weapons, assuming final attack stances. Your Highness. Little Huang gently floated onto Su Xing's shoulder. Su Xing patted Little Huang's calf. He grinned and nodded. Little Huang smiled. Besides the most top-notch martial generals, Shi Yuan, Ansuan, Zhang Yuqi, and Tang Lianxin also assumed their respective battle stances. Shi Yuan prepared a 5 concealments array, and Ansuan summoned the essence-swallowing dragons and the 7 stars birth sword. Zhang Yuqi activated the fish intestine sword and rode atop white wave. Tang Lianxin also took out various astral treasures. Added on to their respective star beasts, the formation in front of her could be considered over-exaggerated. Even if they were to face Li Taisui again, they would have no need to be afraid. And facing the Su Xing who possessed the strongest battle formation since the beginning of the star duels, the solitary Hu Banzhuang appeared very lonely, but the girl was still not feeble. The corners of her lips curled. She felt this scene was very beautiful. For this trial, Banzhuang will not longer hold back. Before Banzhuang's true spirit vanishes, Banzhuang shall kill your lord husband to avenge Lingfeng. Use everything you can to stop Banzhuang. Hu Banzhuang displayed her last killing intent. The terrifying realm of true spirit's 7th stage was displayed at full power. It surprisingly stifled everyone present. What powerful spirit! Although he had already battled Hu Banzhuang so many times, this time, Su Xing nevertheless knew that there would be no charm whatsoever. Gradually, Su Xing's expression also turned extremely cold. His left hand held the 7 colors goose feather saber while his right hand gripped the dragon sparrow Dulong saber surprisingly at the same time. Gong Kaiwei watched very nervously, but she already knew this was a battle that she had any room to interfere in. Outside Ice Soul Valley, Chao Wuhui was also currently watching with rapt attention. Lingfeng, just you watch. Hu Banzhuang raised her 7-star double sabers. 2 beautiful lights of gold and green flashed. The 7th overlord took action. The most beautiful scene thus began. Hu Banzhuang's attack brought absolutely beautiful gold and green saber wind. This saber wind pelted them. Before the blade arrived, her killing intent showed a function of faintly binding everyone to where they stood. The girls had a feeling of foreboding, but they all had passed through the strongest heavenly book trial. Several of their realms had already reached True Phoenix. Even against the True Phoenix 7th stage Hu Banzhuang, they could not possibly sit and wait for death. At the moment she moved. Su Xing's beautiful wives also attacked one after another. First, their star beasts all pounced at once. The new heavenly phoenix turned into flames and burned with powerful magic energy like that of the phoenix execution sky break. Crying Frost's light wings simultaneously spread, and an ice-cold light wove into a net to wrap around her. Then, the white and black unicorn tiger swung a heavy paw, capable of shattering the 5 sacred mountains in one swipe. Hu Banzhuang dove into the attacks. So fast. Su Xing was flabbergasted. Even his eyes were surprisingly unable to track Hu Banzhuang's attack speed. Golden Wind and Jade outlined gorgeous strokes. Hu Banzhuang had surprisingly already broke away from the attack of the 3 great star beasts, becoming a beautiful shadow leaping forth. Behind these star beasts, Yanizhen, Hunyangzi, and Wu Xiao all stepped forward to intercept. Snapped Bowstring Magnolia Lily Ballad, Flying Star Magpie Dance. Blood Splashing Mandarin Duck. 10,000 Li God Killing Arrow. 4 dark techniques chained after each other. Hu Banzhuang's figure surprisingly did not stoop at all. Wherever the girl passed, her posture was beautiful to the point of perfection. Her light smoke dance steps nimbly passed. Hu Banzhuang tread upon cold wind, scattering flowers and snow as she passed, her figure like a bright moon. Saber light scattered from the surroundings. The 3 star beasts were all heavily injured, and the combined attacks of the martial generals could not trap Hu Banzhuang. Hu Banzhuang's blades urged on a snowstorm to directly take Su Xing's head. It was delightfully beautiful. The color drained from Wu Xiao and the others' faces. Earth rank. Last slash, romance in the air. Hu Banzhuang smiled and gazed at Su Xing. Her saber intent was transmitted. Liked it? Hu Banzhuang's earth rank, romance in the air, stunned everyone present upon activation. Her powerful martial arts directly broke apart the new heavenly phoenix, snow-treading frost-eye beast, and the white and black unicorn tiger's encirclement, not at all injured. Immediately afterwards, Wu Xiao, Hunyangzi, and Yanizhen's combined dark techniques were similarly broken. On the contrary, Hu Banzhuang pushed them back. The Hu Banzhuang who easily broke free of the formation leapt up, her graceful body bounding towards Su Xing. Then, even Hua Wenyue's 10,000 Li God killing arrow was unable to obstruct her. But there was someone who could. Lin Yingmei gripped the 5-star Arctic Star Serpent Spear, completely awakening her realm. Her spear's dark technique sallied forth. Although this was far from being able to break through an earth rank like Hu Banzhuang's, the freezing frost of 9 provinces brought chilling frostlight that still was plenty powerful. When this 4th dark technique arrived, Hu Banzhuang had no way to evade again. Spear and double sabers clashed in midair. Romance in the air's saber light directly cut down the spear. Gongsun Huang at this time unleashed star magic, thunderclap in evening breeze. Su Xing shouted, surprisingly also not shrinking back as he himself launched an attack. Little Huang gently floated off of Su Xing's shoulder. Su Xing raised his sabers and slashed. Hu Banzhuang's brows rose, and she abruptly vanished in midair. Such swift speed. Su Xing landed on nothing. Lin Yingmei yelled for Su Xing to be careful, even spinning her body around to narrowly attack Hu Banzhuang. The bright star smiled. She raised her hand and swung down her saber. Saber chi pierced and directly entered Lin Yingmei's body, but the majestic star's pace was rock steady, not shrinking back in the slightest. Instead, she fiercely leapt forward. Spear light rose powerfully towards the heavens, swiftly descending. The Su Xing that was currently beside her knew that he could not watch idly. At the same time, he gripped his double sabers and slashed. Using 2 dark techniques simultaneously nearly made Su Xing collapse from exhaustion. After the fierce exchange passed, the scene of Hu Banzhuang's romance in the air nevertheless did not fade. Lin Yingmei's spear thrust, and thunderclap in evening breeze rolled thunderlight that finally pushed Hu Banzhuang back. The other wives did not give Hu Banzhuang any chance to catch her breath. While Hu Banzhuang was in midair, Yan Yizhen swiftly moved, first using Earth Rank 9 Yin 9 Yang Life and Death. Her fists turned cold and hot, and Yin and Yang surrounded them, directly aiming for Hu Banzhuang's back. And Gongsun Huang was also extremely fast. The little loli soared into the air, her delicate body transforming into an absolutely beautiful phoenix. Her wings spanned 1,000 li, beautifully rushing forth with scorching flames. Hu Banzhuang was graceful and elegant. Her right hand waved golden wind in front of her while her left hand positioned Jade dew behind her. Her slender legs moved with fantastical light smoke dance steps on nothing but air. Careful! Su Xing shouted. But it was too late. Gongsun Huang's Earth Rank Phoenix execution sky break was stopped by Hu Banzhuang's right saber alone. The powerful Earth Rank's magic energy tore straight through the heavens and snowy plains, making the entire Ice Soul Valley's snow begin to melt then evaporate, but Gongsun Huang was stunned to discover no matter how she attacked the opponent, Hu Banzhuang was still calm and easygoing. The girl's attack was unable to break through that golden wind's baleful aura. Hu Banzhuang slashed. Romance in the air reappeared, stabbing straight at the girl's chest. The 7-star destined weapon pierced through her phoenix perch cloud clothes, the killing intent emerging from Gongsun Huang's back. The magnificent phoenix immediately disappeared in a puff of feathers and fading firelight. At the same time, Hu Banzhuang circled around Yan Yizhen's swift attack with light smoke dance steps again. The skillful star's keen body techniques were completely useless against Hu Banzhuang's body techniques, becoming very sluggish. The 9 Yin 9 Yang's powerful punches destroyed that worldly Yin and Yang, but they were unable to destroy Hu Banzhuang's last bit of romance in the air. Jade dew flashed a brilliant saber light. 9 Yin 9 Yang Life and Death's Yin Yang Samsara was suddenly destroyed. However, skillful star Yan Yizhen still relied on her tenacious determination to strike Hu Banzhuang with one last Yin Yang palm. This finally ended the Overlord's Earth Rank. Su Xing used an escape technique to catch the falling Gongsun Huang. Your Highness, Gongsun Huang was incomparably weak, her eyes dim. Already, she was heavily injured and unable to continue battle. Then, Yan Yizhen was caught by Wu Xiao. The maid was the same, heavily injured and incapacitated. Everyone raised their heads to look at Hu Banzhuang, momentarily unable to draw breath. Although these were serious wounds, Su Xing could tell that Hu Banzhuang was entirely capable of killing Gongsun Huang and Yanizhen just now, but the girl did not. She merely injured them, taking them out of the fight. To use your last remaining bit of vitality, I will remember you. Su Xing said. Hu Banzhuang merely smiled. Banzhuang said that today, she will take your life. As for your wives, Banzhuang can let them go. Fine. Su Xing was dutiful. Hu Banzhuang defeated Yanizhen, Gongsun Huang as well as 3 great star beasts from the get-go using just an earth rank. This level of powerful martial arts left them no choice but to turn grim. You can protect your lord husband. Hu Banzhuang descended, her double sabers unsheathed. Her figure was already increasingly hazy. Her silhouette moved, once again launching an attack. Wu Xiao followed Lin Yingmei and Hun Yangzi for a pincer attack. Hu Wanyue's sun-piercing heavenly rainbow shot through Wu Xiao's body to put her in an unparalleled state. Their weapons caught the 7-star golden wind Jade dew, making Hu Banzhuang take a few steps back from this difficult-to-block attack. Passion transmission. Hu Banzhuang circled with light smoke dance steps, passing by Wu Xiao and Lin Yingmei. The other bright star Hun Yangzi had been waiting for this. Her body techniques moved similarly like mist, wonderful beyond compare in yellow rank hate transmission. 7-star and 6-star double sabers, passion transmission and hate transmission collided. Sparks flew everywhere. Hu Banzhuang's hands went numb. The power emitted from Hun Yangzi's sabers made her step back, but her passion transmission similarly repelled Hun Yangzi's blade. Just when Hu Banzhuang was repelled, Wu Xiao's double-ended sword already slashed at her. Hu Banzhuang's reactions were extremely quick. She vanished again and reappeared behind Wu Xiao. 2 sword wounds appeared on the woman's back. Long blizzard nights. Lin Yingmer's tyrannical spear launched a surprise attack. The power of the 5-star destined weapon has only slightly lacking compared to the 7-star double sabers, but the panther head was honestly ferocious. The spear rolled out cold killing intent, each blow increasing her murderous aura a bit. Gradually, the snowstorm magnified, freezing the world, making the Ice Soul Valley that showed signs of spring once again plunge into winter. Hu Banzhuang continuously waved her sabers to block. The more frequent the exchange of attacks, the less favorable a position she was in. The 7th Overlord Bright Star's defenses finally tore open under Lin Yingmei's relentless assault. Lin Yingmei saw her chance and slashed with the Arctic Star Serpent Spear. A snow-bright arc of light swept towards Hu Banzhuang. There was no room at all to evade. Hu Banzhuang had no choice but to block this with all her strength using all her strength. However, the unyielding spear power did not show any delay. It merely diverted slightly off to the side. Lin Yingmei bellowed, her powers suddenly exploding. Hu Banzhuang felt her wrist become heavy. Her pace began to walk through light smoke dance steps. The clangs of weapon clashes echoed through the air. The girl's pace was suddenly chaotic, directly catching sight of Lin Yingmei's attack. Long blizzard night's last attack followed. Hu Banzhuang had no choice but to withdraw, to pull back a distance. Very strong. Following a slight smile on Hu Banzhuang's lips, a sharp cry suddenly came through the air. A whistling arrow abruptly appeared beside her, as if it had always existed at that place. The arrow was full of frightening killing intent, roaring as it shot towards her. And the target was none other than her neck. Huh! Hu Banzhuang's pupils shrunk all of a sudden, as if a giant, formless hand had taken hold of her. Her knees would not bend, and her whole body was shifted backwards instantly. At the same time, the double sabers in her hands swung. Bang! As if there was a sudden explosion, amidst a crisp, while Wanyue's 10,000-li god-killing arrow was instantly disintegrated by the killing intent on the girl's double sabers. Their figures once again intersected, the true Phoenix realm unleashing dance through the willows. But the attack of Su Xing's wives could be said to be chained one after another, following one another. Their coordination was enviable. Just when she repelled dance through the willows, a figure arrived in front of her. Hu Banzhuang saw a pair of beautiful eyes, full of grief and endless love. Even the most beautiful star general was stunned at these eyes that broke a person's heart. Her heart full of a stifling feeling, Hu Banzhuang surprisingly forgot to erect a defense. The person who could possess such eyes of grief and love was none other than her successor, the 9th generation bright star 10 feet of blue Hunyangzi. Hunyangzi's eyes were full of moving sorrow. Astonishingly, this was her earth rank. This passion faces wind, this hatred leaves moon. Her killing intent surged, her saber light flew. The 6-star golden wind Jade attacked with indescribable beauty. In fact, when this saber light flashed, the Ice Soul Valley lost its color. That beautiful curved saber light seemed to be the most beautiful thing in the world. For a moment, it was even captivating. So much so that a person would forget what it signified. But this was only the beginning. All kinds of movements finished at practically the same time. Hu Banzhuang could not dodge this most powerful killing intent and was squarely hit by Hunyangzi, but Hu Banzhuang's realm was too high. At the moment she was cut by Hunyangzi's double sabers, her gentle figure instantly became an indistinct shadow. Countless sharp saber lights rose at the same time like a tide. The floor within a 3-zhang radius was lifted by this terrifying power. Her double sabers stabbed directly through. The timing and angle of Hu Banzhuang's fully charged attack was completely accurate beyond compare. Hunyangzi was completely unable to evade. If she did not retreat, she would inevitably suffer wretched defeat. But even when she clearly knew this, she still stabbed forwards with her double sabers, her body also leaning forwards immediately, as if she was plunging straight for the tip of Hu Banzhuang's saber. The thick air was torn apart by the gale from the weapons, releasing an indistinct whistle. The saber tip that was just within reach was like a bloodthirsty fang. Hey! The 6-star golden wind Jade abruptly crossed with the 7-star golden wind Jade. Gold and green saber lights magnificently unfurled like ribbons, shooting in all directions, making Wu Xiao and the others unable to intervene. By the time this beautiful light dispersed, Hu Banzhuang and Hunyangzi stood abreast of each other, completing the first meeting and conversation of the 7th and 9th bright stars. The result was, "You honestly are very bold." Hu Banzhuang smiled in praise. Then, the clothes on her body ripped. 2 wounds deep enough to show bone now gushed blood. Hunyangzi wanted to say something, but before her lips could part and utter a sound, her body nevertheless collapsed powerlessly onto the ground. Unable to continue battle. Liked it? In a few dozen exchanges, Hu Banzhuang had defeated Gongsun Huang, Yanizhen, and Hunyangzi. The situation was approaching a crisis. Compared to the overlords before, Hu Banzhuang could be said to be far stronger. "Lord husband, be careful. You must not trade blows with her." Wu Xiao already did not dare to neglect anything. She issued Su Xing a stern warning. Although Su Xing had battled Hu Banzhuang 100 bouts over the past few days with considerable results, who knew whether or not this was Hu Banzhuang's plan all along? Especially after she revealed her strongest martial arts, Wu Xiao very acutely sensed how terrifying Hu Banzhuang was. If they continued the previous exchange, then Su Xing would have been in extreme danger. Su Xing naturally knew that he could only secretly charge all of his powers and abilities. Right now, the only thing he could do for his wives was to make Hu Banzhuang unable to handle him. Hu Banzhuang looked at her own hands. Splotches of fresh blood had dyed it red. Banzhuang does not have much time left. It would be best to end this quickly. She smiled and said. At this moment, the smile of the most beautiful star general would make even a spectator feel danger. Her intense attack instantly arrived. In the blink of an eye, Hu Banzhuang appeared behind Su Xing. "Milord, look out." Hua Wanhua promptly defended, being injured by Hu Banzhuang's slash, but at the moment Hu Banzhuang's attack drew close, Su Xing's figure had already vanished. The girl was slightly surprised. Su Xing was already close behind her, the 7 colors Goosefeather Saber and Dragon Sparrow Long Saber attacking at the same time, this time with full power. Right now, Su Xing could not hold back anymore. Let alone that his wives were taking the trial, he himself could also do his utmost. Banzhuang instantly became an untraceable phantom. Her footwork manifested as passing smoke. In no more than a moment, she vanished. Her entire body had become indistinct, illusory. When his two-star weapons were blocked, Su Xing's complexion grew stern. This was the true Phoenix 7th stage realm. Banzhuang's speed was honestly unimaginably fast. He suddenly sprung forward, pivoted his body and thrust his elbow backwards. Pretty good reactions. The girl's amused voice came from behind, foregoing an attack. But what about this? Banzhuang suddenly raised her head. Saber wind blew, compressing the airflow into several threads of killing intent. Su Xing quickly manipulated his positioning, but the girl was really too quick. Her killing intent brushed past Su Xing's arm, knocking the 7 colors goose feather saber and dragon sparrow Duel saber out of his grasp. Banzhuang's silhouette once again changed position, but this time, Hua Wanyue had already sensed her trajectory. Repositioning herself, the hero's star drew her bow. With the snap of her bowstring, she fired towards empty space. Incomparable speed. Even the air seemed to be ripped apart. But Banzhuang appeared to show contempt for this 10,000 Li god-killing arrow. The girl easily slashed, breaking this arrow. She felt that the hero star's attack was simply useless. Although hero star Little Li Guang's archery was indeed exceptional, that was only at a distance. At close range, Banzhuang felt that the hero star was courting death instead. Thereupon, Banzhuang attacked her. But she did not imagine that Hua Wanyue's beautiful figure would gracefully disappear from under her saber, then reappear somewhere else. She released her bowstring and loosed an arrow, the power of the 10,000 Li god-killing arrow again. Banzhuang felt very amazed. Then, Hua Wanyue's silhouette became even more elusive, appearing with a dazzle, graceful to the extreme as she drew her bow, decisive as she fired her arrow. Each movement was perfection, flowing with elegance and grace, making even Banzhuang somewhat amazed. But in several breaths' time, not only was Banzhuang unable to attack Su Xing, on the contrary, Hua Wanyue's extremely elegant archery had rendered her unable to take action. Arrow after 10,000 Li god-killing arrow inconceivably appeared. Surprisingly, there were more than several dozen. To fire so many dark ranks together in succession, this power was more frightening than an earth rank. Even Banzhuang sharply inhaled. This is no mistake. Heaven Earth Dark Yellow skill. Too young to have learned about sorrow. The several dozen 10,000 Li god-killing arrows shot towards Banzhuang. The girl had nowhere to dodge. In the end, she was devoured by killing intent. The star crest on Hua Wanyue's forehead faded. The hero star that used her Heaven Earth Dark Yellow skill was already powerless to continue fighting. She heaved as she looked at the Banzhuang who had been consumed by killing intent, her face full of apprehension. After the baleful aura dispersed. Disappointingly, but unsurprisingly, Banzhuang emerged. However, the current bright star cut a sorry figure like never before. Although she had stopped every single 10,000 Li god-killing arrow, she was still affected by that tyrannical killing intent. Any other star general would have fallen by now without as much luck. Hua Wanyue fell powerlessly to a knee. After Hua Wanyue was defeated, only the last two great martial generals Lin Yingmei and Wu Xiao protected Su Xing. If they were defeated, then Banzhuang would be in direct confrontation with Su Xing. None of the girls dared imagine this. Therefore, Wu Xiao and Lin Yingmei exchanged glances. With perfect coordination, the two black and white fiends suddenly attacked. In but an instant, this beautiful attack was already unleashed. Banzhuang did not hesitate to rush into Wu Xiao and Lin Yingmei's combined assault. Her absolutely beautiful golden wind and jade dew sabers were leisurely raised, tearing at the two girls together with the magnificent swordlight on her body. There was an explosion that seemed to level the ground. Phantoms of golden wind and jade dew twisting around Banzhuang's whole body appeared. Their frightening pressure instantly spread in all direction, and the Wu Xiao who was close to her suddenly became the first victim. Her true phoenix was only second stage, and her destined weapon was only 4-star. Like a shooting star, she was ruthlessly sent flying backwards by this terrifying murderous aura. In the intensely beautiful saber light, Hu Banzhuang's golden wind and Jade crossed to show a beautiful arc saber chi appeared like snowflakes, continuously attacking the place Wu Xiao had fallen, instantly covering her. The killing intent attacked with crisp and endless noise. The sky was filled with debris lifted by the saber chi. The snowy ground had split apart, and a mist pervaded the area. Even while injured, Hu Banzhuang's surly martial arts were undoubtedly present. Behind the scattering saber light, Hu Banzhuang's light glowed with cold light. She suddenly gripped her sabers. Illusions covering her whole body instantly concentrated onto the sabers in her hands. Gold and green became one, spinning together, strangely giving rise to a harmonious combination, emitting an awe-inspiring killing intent. "Look out!" Su Xing worriedly shouted. He could already sense that Hu Banzhuang was about to use her strongest technique to quickly end everything. She was indeed serious. Lin Yingmei and Wu Xiao's expressions were both stern. At the same time she cried aloud, Hu Banzhuang shot by like a meteor, bringing her might suddenly towards the Wu Xiao still stuck in a hole. Su Xing promptly attacked with Purple Fiend and Purple Mansion Immortal Thunder, even bringing out that immortal murdering whip. Zhang Yuqi used her earth-rank heavenly sword. A sword of water descended from the heavens. But everything they vanished without a trace before even touching Hu Banzhuang. Su Xing, Tang Lianxin, and Zhang Yuqi were simply shocked at this scene. Those sabers that seemed to tear apart the sky heavily swung down. Time seemed to enter a standstill, and a moment seemed to last an eternity. The surroundings all seemed to be frozen in place. Hu Banzhuang's double sabers were about to kill Wu Xiao when a spear suddenly appeared and firmly blocked it. The spear tip flowed with snowy killing intent that counteracted the dense gold and green light upon Hu Banzhuang's sabers. Despite the bright star's overwhelming might, under the obstruction of this spear, she surprisingly could not budge at all. She was stuck in midair. "Fight your servant." Lin Yingmei sneered. At this time, the majestic star's appearance was stiflingly beautiful. Her black hair had already become snow-white, and the young girl's body was enveloped in a layer of ice and frost, emitting a biting chill. This was her earth rank. Ice heart seals sun and moon. Hu Banzhuang was taken aback. Evidently, she did not anticipate that Lin Yingmei would surprisingly be capable of blocking this, and Hu Banzhuang immediately sensed the chill concentrating on the blade. Her own killing intent was surprisingly frozen. Banzhuang presumes that you must be that wife that Su Xing loves most. From the number of stars on the Arctic Star Serpent Spear, recognizing the girl's power, Hu Banzhuang sensed something different. Lin Yingmei sneered, her eyes like frost. Instantly, she entered her most cold state. Hu Banzhuang urged on her realm and star energy at full power to face Lin Yingmei. "Xiao." Su Xing ran in front of Wu Xiao. And Suan also began to heal her. "Your concubine is fine." Wu Xiao stood up, looked at Su Xing, suddenly smiled and kissed Su Xing. Their lips intertwined, flowing with passion. After the hot kiss, Wu Xiao's eyes were already charming, her cheeks a thorough red, soaring with drunkenness. Wu Xiao gave Su Xing a flirtatious smile. After she turned around, she instantly vanished, then attacked Hu Banzhuang. "Big brother, this is..." "Do not laugh while laying drunk on battlefield." Su Xing clenched his fist. Hu Banzhuang had only just broken away from Lin Yingmei's attack range when Wu Xiao immediately flanked her. The intoxicated Wu Xiao's realm already ascended to true Phoenix 4th stage levels, and her coordination with Lin Yingmei was already at the stage of perfection, flawless. The drunken Wu Xiao's noble frost demonic lotus assault became completely arbitrary. Even Hu Banzhuang was unable to predict Wu Xiao's attack pattern. Resounding metal and sparks in the air ignited the portent of blood. Another heaven-earth dark yellow skill? Hu Banzhuang looked at the black star crest on Wu Xiao's forehead and simply did not dare believe this. Wu Song surprisingly had a heaven-earth dark yellow skill with that man as well. Lin Yingmei's ice heart seals sun and moon blocked off Hu Banzhuang's escape paths one by one. Wu Xiao's drunken and varied attacks also appeared at random, targeting Hu Banzhuang's weakest parts. The combination attacks of the two girls practically suppressed the invincible Hu Banzhuang. She did not even have the chance to use her heaven rank. This was truly worthy of two great thousand-year martial generals. Hu Banzhuang relied on her powerful realm to barely ward them off, but the injuries on her body were increasing. Her figure was also beginning to turn increasingly faint. Since this is the case, then Banzhuang shall activate her heaven rank, Hu Banzhuang shouted. Under the continuous suppression, her double sabers suddenly vanished from her hands. For the strongest 7-star weapons to suddenly disappear from her hands like this, Wu Xiao and Lin Yingmei did not hesitate at all to attack when they saw this. Run away, quickly. Su Xing suddenly sensed danger and shouted. He was about to use an escape technique to rush over. Elder brother, do not be impulsive. Tang Lianxin promptly grabbed Su Xing. A breath's time. No. Perhaps even faster. In short, already out of time and range, Wu Xiao and Lin Yingmei felt their attacks become very sluggish. The target that was just within reach seemed to be more than 1,000 meters away. And after Hu Banzhuang's double sabers disappeared, all of a sudden, the two saber lights of Golden Wind and Jade Dew flashed in the space behind her. The two girls hastily put up defenses, but it was already too late. Heaven-toppling saber light stunned the world. In the middle of its rumble, Hu Banzhuang serenely said. Banzhuang hopes that your lord husband has left your star nests intact. Yingmei, this is bad. Liked it? The 7-star Golden Wind Jade Dew vanished from Hu Banzhuang's hands and reappeared. The space and time surrounding her seemed to enter a world of slow motion. Wu Xiao and Lin Yingmei felt that the Hu Banzhuang that was plainly in front of them now seemed 1,000 li away. Absolutely beautiful saber light then appeared around Hu Banzhuang, becoming a storm filling the sky, twisting towards the two girls. This was a practically undodgeable heaven rank. Serene mood, extreme destruction. Just when the saber light swept out, Wu Xinjie very quickly used her 8 gates black gold chain's earth rank, 5 elements Qiankuan lock. The 8 gates black gold chain was not a normal star weapon. Even its upgrade process was very difficult, and each technique she comprehended was very awesome. Even though she was one of the strongest heavenly stars, she did not dare be neglectful. This 5 elements Qiankuan lock was comprehended from her 5 elements achievement in the heavenly book Dream. A black light flashed. Countless chains released rays of golden light that covered the world, weaving into a net. Each black gold chain carried power that inverted 5 elements and locked the world. The world entered a frozen state, surprisingly clashing with Hu Banzhuang's heaven rank serene mood extreme destruction. Gorgeous saber chi wrapped around each chain, rolling, even enveloping Wu Xinjie. Lin Yingmei and Wu Xiao were swallowed by this saber chi. By the time the heaven rank passed, Hu Banzhuang still hovered in midair, exceptionally beautiful. The light of the star weapons in her hands dimmed, and that true Phoenix 7th stage aura was greatly weakened. The 8 gates black gold chain, truly a good weapon. Banzhuang never imagined to be able to see it again. Hu Banzhuang slightly smiled. Yingmei, Xiao. Seeing Wu Xiao and Lin Yingmei, Su Xing breathed out. The two girls were in difficult situation. There were already heavy injuries upon their bodies. Half kneeling on the ground, Wu Xiao could not lift even a finger, and Lin Yingmei was not that much better. Although Wu Xinjie used her earth rank to shield them from a portion of Hu Banzhuang's heaven rank killing intent, this attack was still very strong, injuring the two of them heavily. However, seeing them relatively fine, Su Xing was relieved. Hu Banzhuang, didn't you say you only wanted to kill me? Come take my life. Su Xing shouted. Hu Banzhuang looked at Su Xing, wearing an expression of praise yet not without losing her killing intent. Banzhuang of course will uphold this promise. As if. Lin Yingmei sprung up, swinging her Arctic Star Serpent spear downwards. Hu Banzhuang repelled Lin Yingmei. The heavily injured Majestic Star was currently already not a threat. Hey, you cannot be impudent to young lord. Wu Xinjie licked her lips. She pointed her hand, using the 8 gates black gold chains dark technique bind silk before rain. The chains multiplied, falling like a drizzle. Hu Banzhuang shouted. She spun her swords, and killing intent swiftly flowed out, surging. Using her light smoke dance steps and superb true phoenix realm, Hu Banzhuang surprisingly completely avoided the bind silk before rain's killing intent. Dazzling light mind image. The hua shui on Wu Xinjie's shoulders flashed its eyes, shooting white light towards Hu Banzhuang. Hu Banzhuang hesitated for an instant. A ray of white light descended. The fish intestine sword brushed past Hu Banzhuang's body, making a slight cut. Zhang Yuqi cursed under her breath and activated white water mirror heart. Hu Banzhuang continuously used light smoke dance step, and Wu Xinjie immediately advanced. Although she had no martial force whatsoever, the knowledge star absolutely would not allow Hu Banzhuang to draw near Su Xing. She stalled for time as long as she could, planning on making Hu Banzhuang's true spirit dissipate. How could Hu Banzhuang not know their plan? After she used her heaven rank, her energy was depleted. Surrounded by Su Xing's numerous wives, and with numerous injuries on her body, she had never been so hard-pressed since the 7th star duels. However, this made Hu Banzhuang smile even more excited. Her desire to kill Su Xing had instead intensified. The 7th generation's genius bright star was inherently an unstoppable and beautiful young woman. The more dangerous the battle was, the greater her mastery of martial arts comprehension. This contrarily had bolstered Hu Banzhuang's resolve. Only by killing Su Xing could she honor the painstaking effort those wives put into protecting him. Of course, the same went for she was killed by Su Xing. Her lithe body carried an intense whirlwind. The double sabers crisscrossed, and her gentle, beautiful eyes flashed with a magnificent light. Her cherry lips parted, releasing the frightening killing intent upon her blades in all direction. Whoosh! A muffled noise. Wu Xinjie could only rely on the 8 gates black gold chains to strenuously defend. The 3-star 8 gates black gold chains light flickered, appearing from out of thin air like illusions. Like shooting stars, their trajectories could not be tracked as they circled towards Hu Banzhuang. Another yellow rank. Weather is not predictable. As far as the 7th overlord was concerned, even while injured and weary, Hu Banzhuang could practically ignore the pressure this yellow rank brought. However, Wu Xinjie's 8 gates black gold chains were exceptionally strange. This really was not a vain attempt to hold back an overlord. Wu Xinjie was only thinking of buying time. As much time as she could. Golden Wind and Jade Du's killing intent fell upon weather is not predictable and was completely blocked. The chains clattered and were ripped apart, but Wu Xinjie continuously spent star energy to maintain the 8 gates black gold chain. Su Xing watched sullenly, his knuckles already turning white from clenching his fists so hard. The blood in his body was on fire. He wanted to do something, but Tang Lianxin firmly held Su Xing back, shouting, "Elder brother, you must not intervene, this is not the time." Su Xing had Wu Xinjie's seeing clearly and naturally could see things very clearly. Hu Banzhuang's realm was frighteningly high. If he competed, he would not be as lucky as he had been over the past few days. This beautiful woman would not spare any effort in killing him. He could see that from those blazing eyes. But this reason could hardly extinguish Su Xing's flame. The stars have moved. Hua Shui was knocked aside by Hu Banzhuang's saber, and Wu Xinjie could not last. Against an overlord's severe saber chi, she could only use the heaven-concealing stars fan's earth rank. The incoming killing intent was reflected by starlight. Hu Banzhuang was stunned. Without any hesitation, she charged into the killing intent. The girl's clothes were shredded, and even her underwear was considerably damaged, revealing an erotic sight, but even so, the most beautiful star general absolutely paid this no attention. the only thought in her mind was to complete her trial. Impossible. When Wu Xinjie saw her earth rank had no effect, her complexion became pale. Hu Banzhuang shouted, a blood flower bursting out suddenly from her double sabers. Her gentle voice instantly became a bitter groan. The 7-star double sabers directly broke the 8 gates black gold chains array. The saber's tip stabbed towards Wu Xinjie's body. If only he had left you your star nest. Hu Banzhuang's second saber was about to slash Wu Xinjie's neck. Just at this moment, she suddenly heard the roar of thunder. Hu Banzhuang was taken aback. Out of the corner of her eye, she spied an aggressive figure. A long trail of afterimages lagged behind Su Xing. His speed had reached terrifying heights, arriving above Hu Banzhuang in an instant as if he had broken free of gravity itself. His robes fluttered, his short hair swayed, and his eyes flashed with a chilling light. This really was Su Xing pretty good expression. Pretty good courage. Hu Banzhuang smirked and changed her attack direction. Bright Star Hu Banzhuang's double sabers carried frightening killing intent right above Su Xing's head. She could only use such an attack to delay Su Xing's approach. The disparity in their speeds left her bound. Ignoring Bright Star Hu Banzhuang's frightening sabers, Su Xing's figure passed like light smoke. He gently passed by Hu Banzhuang's attack, his person already swiftly sticking to Hu Banzhuang's flank. At the same time, endless purple fiends accompanied, rolling an intense whirlwind around Su Xing's body. Amidst the purple fiends, countless purple fiend blades shot about, continuously launching towards Hu Banzhuang's body. Against such a powerful attack, even Hu Banzhuang had no choice but to use her double sabers to defend. Amidst the haze, a red figure rolled forth like a dragon, flying swiftly about at frightening speeds. Countless purple fiends rolled out, unfurling intense killing intent. An air-shattering scream pierced everyone's eardrums. In front of this quick figure, Hu Banzhuang's movements were completely unable to evade the attacks of these purple fiends. She continuously battered about intensely, a series of bangs shaking everyone's spirits. From the very beginning, the intensity of the battle was astounding. Su Xing used full power from the get-go, endlessly using his speed and purple fiends against Hu Banzhuang. The purple fiends' attacks were sharp as a blade. If she was at peak condition, Hu Banzhuang could easily handle them, but currently, she could not spare them a thought. It was this bit of negligence that Su Xing seized upon. Offense was the best defense. Right now, Su Xing planned to use his most powerful attacks to defend, up until the moment Hu Banzhuang's true spirit dissipated. The 100 bouts that he bitterly passed through over the several days, now passed by in the blink of an eye. Young master, all of the girls nervously watched Su Xing, yet there was nothing they could do. In actuality, although Su Xing's attacks were exceptionally fierce, his mind was very clear. No matter how much force he used, no matter how much speed, all of his attacks seemed to hit a barrier. Indeed, Hu Banzhuang's absolutely beautiful 7-star double sabers were still an impregnable defense, using weakness to conquer all of Su Xing's strength. The counterattack was only a question of time. Banzhuang shall have you die together for love. Hu Banzhuang raised her double sabers, chuckling. When Su Xing heard these words, he immediately had a sense of foreboding. He wanted to withdraw for now, but Hu Banzhuang had already begun. Golden Wind and Jade raised a resplendent saber light that was like smoke and rain, surprisingly drawing Su Xing's body in, turning him into a moth to a flame. Even if Su Xing wanted to use the chaotic tail escape, he could not. This was. Su Xing's pupils shrunk. Dark technique. Together in the drizzle. The powerful 7-star destined weapon and 7th stage true phoenix practically made Su Xing feel suffocated, but the man had no fear at all. On the contrary, he was very composed. Hu Banzhuang was very perplexed. Perhaps he wanted to die at ease. The answer was very quickly announced. Hu Banzhuang drew Su Xing in. Just as the bright saber chi was about to kill Su Xing, all of a sudden, she saw gold and green light cover Su Xing's body. These lights were elegant and gentle. When her together in the drizzle struck Su Xing, she surprisingly sensed that it became a stone fallen into the great ocean, issuing no response. She saw that Su Xing's forehead once again shimmered with a resonating star crest. Hu Banzhuang was struck dumb. Impossible, a third heaven-earth dark yellow. Then, crescent saber lights filled the skies, attacking her from behind. Hu Banzhuang turned her head to look. There was already nothing to be said. The one who acted this time was the 9th generation's bright star 10 feet of blue Hunyangzi. The last heaven-earth dark yellow. When golden wind embraces Jade dew. Liked it? Breathtaking saber chi that was like shards of shattered moonlight descended upon Hu Banzhuang. Hunyangzi used every last bit of star energy in her entire body to give Su Xing one final chance. Hu Banzhuang was encircled by when golden wind embraces Jade dew, accepting Hunyangzi's final attack. All of the girls had their hearts in their throats. They could only wait and hope this last attack could finally end Hu Banzhuang. But they were to be disappointed. After the shock passed, Hu Banzhuang's figure was still standing, but she was even more faint than before. The clothes on the girl's body had already been completely destroyed by the endless saber light. That wonderful, jade-like body was completely bared to the world, truly making everything pale in comparison. How can this be? Hunyangzi powerlessly said. To surprisingly have another heaven-earth dark yellow. Hu Banzhuang profoundly glanced at Hunyangzi, practically not daring to believe the reality she saw in front of her. More than a dozen star generals, 3 heaven-earth dark yellows. This was too insane. A heaven-earth dark yellow was extremely difficult to comprehend. It required carefully selected geography and timing. It could not suddenly emerge just because you felt a deep connection to a star master, or if a star master was facing impending doom. If this was actually the case, then the star duels would already be overflowing with heaven-earth dark yellows. In fact, the number of heaven-earth dark yellow skills unleashed over 9 generations of star duels could be counted on fingers. As a matter of fact, the reason that Hu Banzhuang could emerge victorious in the 7th and kill all of the top-notch martial generals on her own was because she and Bing Lingfeng had gone through the double sevens and comprehended a heaven-earth dark yellow. Otherwise, their result in the 7 stars assembly would have been very difficult to anticipate. But this was the first time she had ever seen a single star master comprehend heaven-earth dark yellow skills with 3 different star generals. Just what sort of character was this man, to surprisingly create 3 heaven-earth dark yellows? Hu Banzhuang finally understood why Su Xing raised Su Xing to go face Fang La. Perhaps he actually could create a miracle. Right now, Hu Banzhuang's power was greatly depleted, and her body was heavily injured. She was at the end of her rope. Su Xing, you must die today. Hu Banzhuang said to Su Xing. This was not arrogance born of jealousy, nor was it from unforgettable hatred. The bright star smiled all along. This stemmed from the respect she had for Su Xing's wives as well as the respect she held of Su Xing. Since your wives can already reach this stage, if Banzhuang cannot bring out all of her power to kill you, then that would be too great a waste of their thoughts to protect you. If Lin Yingmei knew her thoughts, she probably would vomit blood. However, Su Xing nevertheless clearly knew. On the contrary, he felt this was right. But you had better put on some clothes first. I don't like to take advantage of you. Saying this, he waved his hand and threw a robe to Hu Banzhuang. Only now did the Hu Banzhuang who had sunken into an absolute battle frenzy notice that the palace dress on her body was already torn to shreds. She could be said to be standing completely threadbare in front of Su Xing. Her secret place was plainly visible to Su Xing, yet she did not realize it. Hu Banzhuang's face seemed to be on fire, her cheeks a thorough red. She grit her teeth and forced a smile. She had been hugged and groped by this man. In the end, she was surprisingly even exposed completely. She was honestly resentful to the extreme. Her lifelong beauty and chastity were surprisingly destroyed all at once. However, Hu Banzhuang actually did not feel angry. There was no significance to that anyways. For protecting Banzhuang's reputation, today, Banzhuang can only die with you for love. You're better off forgetting about that, I don't have any feelings for you at all. Su Xing said, conflicted. A sneer. Draping herself with the robe, she accepted his consideration without any reservation. Hu Banzhuang came, but her power was already greatly reduced. Su Xing actually felt he was not unable to cross swords. Then this time, allow me. Fighting erupted. No. The fighting had yet to start. When Hu Banzhuang rushed towards Su Xing, her cool and elegant double sabers were stopped by a Chan staff. A woman dressed in Buddhist garb stood between Su Xing and Hu Banzhuang, not allowing them to get close. Hu Banzhuang was stunned. The girl who stepped forward was expressionless, her eyes unfathomable. The girl struck with her Chan staff, striking with a fierce sweep. Hu Banzhuang was forced back. Jumping backwards several times, she elegantly pulled a distance away, gazing at the girl in front of her in shock. I will not allow you to die for love with Lord Benefactor. The girl who intervened so decisively was none other than solitary star Lu Shaking. Shaking, you finally came out. Wu Xinjie had begun to worry to death. Right now, everyone had been defeated by Hu Banzhuang. The only one capable of battle was Lu Shaking. As far as this Buddhist woman was concerned, Wu Xinjie had no doubts about her martial prowess. She should have no problem stalling until Hu Banzhuang's true spirit dissipated, or she might even kill her. Sisters, please rest well. Lu Shaking held her palm out, nodding to Su Xing, Lord Benefactor, please watch for now as well. When Lu Shaking appeared, the 48 immemorial flying swords Heaven Tearing, Time Immemorial, Langia, and Jian Feather spun around Su Xing. With his flying swords at his side, all of the girls were greatly relieved. Hu Banzhuang adjusted the robe and breathed deeply. Banzhuang is indeed very weary, but to think of being the fisherman that takes both the snipe and clam, this thinking is too naive. The 7-star double sabers once again rose. Hey! Lu Shaking took up her Chan staff, rushing straight forward. Her withering thriving lotus flower beast released multicolored lotus flowers in her surroundings to provide assistance. Come then. Hu Banzhuang raised her sabers and charged at the same time. Meanwhile, Black Turtle Territory. Lu Zhao's heavenly book had attracted the greatest crisis in the heavenly books. The Devil Star Palace's Holy Lord of Draconic Demon and Su Xingxiang, with the 4 great law protectors, rushed for Lu Zhao's island. This powerful force shook the entire Black Turtle Territory. 28th day of the heavenly books. As expected, everyone discovered the Lu Zhao who was currently in her heavenly book dream. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon who wanted to obtain the Strength Star's star energy launched his attack without uttering a word. Her guardian Star River Dragon Horse sensed danger and let out a roar, fully displaying its divine might. Filthy beast, you would dare be a hindrance. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon controlled his 9 phantasms 10 Bane's capital demon swords to kill it, but this Star River Dragon Horse was ranked 2nd on the Star Beast list. Even a Supervoid cultivator would need to fear it. The Qilin spat out a river of stars, completely entangling the 9 phantasms 10 Bane's capital demon sword. The Star River Dragon Horse charged forwards. The Qilin's arrogance made the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon change expression and forced him to retreat. A black shadow passed. Demon King of Chao Fan Ming barred the Star River Dragon Horse. Damned beast, watch this. Fan Ming sneered and slashed with her claws. The Star River Qilin's divine might was like a mountain, its power surging. What incredible power! The moment the Star River Qilin pounced, even Fan Ming sensed a heavy pressure upon her chest. At the same time Fan Ming felt amazement at the Strength Star's Star Beast, her heart also burned with the fire of envy. She did not concede that she was unable to defeat a trifling Star Beast. Fan Ming's claws scratched the Star River Qilin. It was very obvious the girl's waist was arching backwards like a strained tree. The Star River Qilin's fierce charge was not only very fast, its power was also extremely strong. It pushed Fan Ming to the point of suffocating. Her heart was enraged, and a dark technique launched the Star River Dragon Horse into the air. At the same time, her black shadow suddenly leapt. Her body drew a beautiful arc in midair, already arriving right above the Star River Dragon horse. Somersaulting in the air, her claws tore out terrible killing intent, all in one move. Golden light suddenly exploded out of the Qilin's body, abruptly blinding her. The Star River Qilin's power was unleashed. In no more than a fleeting instant, there was a sharp noise, and Fan Ming's attack landed on nothing. This damned beast. Everyone stared, surprisingly being stalled by the Qilin. Fan Ming's expression was unsightly. Just as the attack here finished, the Star River Qilin launched another before even landing. This star beast was very intelligent, constantly guarding in a radius around Lu Xiao, so as to avoid letting the others encroach. We cannot delay. Other people have come. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon said to Li Xiangfei and then glanced at Su Xingxiang. Your servant knows. Su Xingxiang nodded. Her star general Du Yunxiang manifested. Her straight black hair rose in the wind. The woman was expressionless, raising her star weapon, false god true demon mask. This star weapon was a mask placed upon her face, one part grinning, another part sinister, one part demonic yet magnanimous, another divine and open, but it would frighten anyone at first sight. The mask had 5 swirling stars. This mask had a deterrent function. Demon Face did not shy away from any spiritual power and was more bold the stronger the enemy. However, Demon Face's inherent martial force was feeble. This would only be some magic to use as a last resort, thus, in the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon's view, this was considerably outside the mainstream. Du Yunxiang used her dark rank, mind-absorbing soul-stealing. It stopped the Star River Dragon horse. At the same time, Su Xingxiang also took action, activating the 5 Elements Ring. The 5 Elements Ring appeared out of thin air and flashed. 5 rays of 5 lights circled and immediately secured the Qilin's limbs and neck. The 5 Elements Ring was one of the most ancient of prehistoric spirit treasures. Although it was average in ranking, it was most adept at trapping enemies and protecting its user, let alone that the 5 Elements Ring could release a very troubling ability to restrain the 5 elements. Su Xingxiang chanted, releasing scorching gold light. The 5 Elements Ring suddenly became completely red. The Star River Dragon horse was metal element. Restrained by fire, it immediately bellowed in pain. At this time, Li Xiangfei moved, bringing an ear-splitting whistle. Her figure already appeared above the Star River Dragon horse's head. The noble woman raised the white knight dragon carving sword and ruthlessly swung it down. The 5-star destined weapon descended, cutting into the Star River Qilin's body. Fan Ming also charged in, her 5 demons' infernal devil claws mercilessly ripping up the Qilin's golden light. The Star River Dragon horse endlessly struggled. Truly annoying. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon activated the Boundless Bell. A knell gently resounded over the ocean. The world fell into silence. The Qilin's power immediately weakened. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon used the 8 Desolations heavenly demon cultivation method to attack with devil light and flying swords. Under the united front of Holy Lord of Draconic Demon, Su Xingxiang, Li Xiangfei, Fan Ming, and Du Yunxiang, the Star River Dragon horse could not last. Li Xiangfei then summoned her similarly powerful Star Beast Dragon Ling Kiss. This beautiful Star Beast swam upon the seas, letting out several beams of water light. Seeing that the Star River Qilin was finally about to die, the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon seized the opening. With delight in his heart, he promptly controlled his flying swords. The 9 Phantasms 10 Bane's capital demon sword released terrifying devil light that descended upon Lu Xiao. Just as it was about to devour her, Su Xingxiang watched and could not help but raise her brows. She gripped the 10,000 souls parasol, prepared to take action. All of a sudden, a single-horned Pishio beast leapt out, raising its horn to surprisingly stop these flying swords for the moment. To kill Strength Star Lu Junyi, you must first kill Lady Luan. A beautiful 9 dragons cart arrived, and a slender and graceful woman descended, bringing an absolutely domineering coldness. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon's heart sank, and his smile immediately vanished. Again, the author keeps changing what Lu Xiao's star beast is referred to as. Just know that the star river whatever is her star beast. To kill Lu Junyi, you must first kill me. This domineering woman was naturally the palace master of the Nine Dragons Palace, Shi Jingluan. Along with Shi Jingluan were Li Shuangfei, Wang Jingji, several of the other girls, and even Lu Tianya. Nine Dragons Palace Master's sudden appearance was just in the nick of time for the Jade Qilin's crisis. However, the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon was not surprised they would appear. Currently in the Black Turtle territory, the only Star Master powers besides the Devil Star Palace were the Nine Dragons Palace and Three Ruan's Water Fort. But from the very beginning, the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon did not place these scattered star generals that were without Star Masters in his gaze at all. What did he have to fear from a star general without a single contract? Lady Jingluan, what is this? Can it be you want to save this Lu Junyi? The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon heard Shi Jingluan's previous declaration and nearly replaced his anger with a laugh. Everyone knew that the Strength Star was the strongest martial general in the star duels. That Shi Jingluan would let her go, the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon was unconvinced. Who would listen to such a statement? Ha, ha. Can it be that you believe this Strength Star will be grateful to you? Young master, what are you doing chatting with her? Kill first. Fan Ming yelled and attacked. She feared that delaying for too long would draw more and more Star Masters over who were not so easy to handle. Although the Devil Star Palace's 4 great law protectors were present, they would not intervene until the critical moment. Minger, be careful. Li Xiangfei shouted. But she was already unable to stop the girl's murderous desire. Shi Jingluan's footsteps were swift as arrows. Fan Ming was simply unable to believe her speed, only seeing the woman instantly close the distance in the blink of an eye, a staff in her hand. The attacking Fan Ming did not expect that she would have to change to defense in an instant. With a chilling breaking sound, the yellow dragon staff slammed into Fan Ming's body, as if to shatter the girl's arm. If it was not for the heavenly spirit astral treasure, night star dust repelling armor, she wore, Fan Ming felt that this blow would have crippled her arm. But the enormous strength upon the staff still made Fan Ming contort her face in pain. Bang! A loud noise suddenly echoed through the air. Fan Ming's speed instantly increased to its limit. Her entire body was like a demon, roving about erratically. Chilling demonic wails rang out, and Fan Ming charged towards Shi Jingluan with her 5 demons' infernal devil claws in hand. The 2 claws manifested thousands of specters and wisps of smoke. Sensing the terrifying might of 9 tattooed dragons Shi Jingluan, as well as the strength of that star weapon, Fan Ming also made a prompt decision to use her Earth rank technique. Soul Flying Sword Dispersal. Shi Jingluan was unfazed. Her 6-star destined weapon was on an entirely different level of power. With a mere swing of the yellow dragon staff, Fan Ming only saw the staff vanish and become a soaring yellow dragon. It clashed with Fan Ming's Soul Flying Sword Dispersal. This was Dark Rank Yellow Dragon Worship's Heaven. The Soul Flying Sword Dispersal broke the Yellow Dragon Worship's Heaven. Its leftover might carried through, but this had given Shi Jingluan time to prepare her 2nd star weapon. 9 dragons 9 flashes. Minute star 9 tattooed dragons Queen Jingluan's body flickered. She brought out the 4-star dragon-trapping 9-section staff, and light radiated out from the 9-section staff. Fan Ming was completely too late to hear anything. Her entire person had already been struck directly by a powerful force. That force was vast, something she had no way to completely defend against. They could even hear the bones throughout her whole body groan. She was already like a cannonball, flung far, far away. Then, Shi Jingluan transformed her star weapon once again, bringing out her 3-star Crimson Dragon Bow. Dragon Burning Extreme Break. A fire dragon flew out, shooting devastatingly into Fan Ming's body. The fire dragon arrow then broke out of her back. Shi Jingluan acted quickly and smoothly, all in a single breath. The rhythm of her every attack was linked together flawlessly. Even though Li Xiangfei had already raised a warning, her actions should have been slower a tad. How can this be? Demon King of Chaos mouth hung agape, unreconciled that she would be defeated. The girl's current appearance was quite wretched. 9 dents had surprisingly been punched into that heavenly spirit astral treasure. Her long hair had been blown into disarray. Taking a few steps, Fan Ming could not avoid vomiting blood. The Devil Star Palace has treated you quite well. That is a heavenly spirit astral treasure. Shi Jingluan nodded. If it was not for this treasure, that series of attacks just now would perhaps already have caused Demon King of Chaos Fan Ming to starfall. Gazing at Shi Jingluan, a smile of hatred spread across Fan Ming's face. Her pitch-black eyes burned with tumultuous flames. Damn it! Do you think just the few of you can handle us? The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon shouted. Although he had been utterly defeated by the Purple Thunder monster, shattering his confidence, the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon honestly did not fear anyone else. The 9 Phantasms 10 Bane's capital demon swords activated. The demonic light of the demon swords was unparalleled, their evil power surging. Sky-soaring Great Sage Li Shuangfei used her dark technique fingers linked to heart, but the 4-star Dead Leaves darts had barely touched the demon swords when they were devoured. This man's sword chant was not the average sort of terrifying, but Li Shuangfei still had other options. She then immediately took out the Southern Barbarian Sword and Autumn Wind Shield. Earth Rank Sword Technique, breaking through the sky. That sword directly pierced the heavens and knocked away the demon swords. Li Shuangfei at this time swung her sword. Li Xiangfei also took action at this time. The woman's hands spread apart. The ocean waves and winds seemed to suck her into a river shaped like a palm. Finish this quickly. Shi Jingluan knew the river dragon's might. This island location was completely to her advantage. Without any hesitation, Shi Jingluan suddenly put force to her legs. The ground quaked, and the earth instantly erupted. An enormous recoil made the air shake. In the smoke, the woman's figure had already swiftly appeared in front of Li Xiangfei. Her body leaned, striking with her staff at full power. Seeing the yellow dragon staff's 6 stars, everyone's expression became serious. The staff was wrapped in a whirling hurricane. Surprisingly, it appeared to be entwined with a cyclone, ripping apart the air with a whistle so shrill it made everyone unable to help but cover their ears. Everyone knew that Shi Jingluan's attack was definitely full of power. Li Xiangfei gently grunted. Her body floated, surprisingly pulling back more than a zhang away in an instant, as if she was completely unaffected by time or space. Showing a strange aura, Shi Jingluan's staff merely struck futilely at empty space. Soon after, the noble woman and the great ocean became one. A tidal wave that reached the skies roared towards Shi Jingluan. Hey! Shi Jingluan then swung her staff, breaking that water magic attack. Li Xiangfei became a martial general in the water, gripping her white knight dragon carving sword and slashing. Each of the river dragon's sword strokes made the sea's waves surge violently, putting even the Devil Star Palace's 4 great law protectors on shaky ground. They could only admire the power of a martial general on water. Li Xiangfei used her innate skill to overturn the seas. Each of her attacks was very mighty, surprisingly fighting evenly against Shi Jingluan's 6-star yellow dragon staff. A white dragon and a yellow dragon intertwined, clashing. The two of them carried out an offensive at high speed. The first to stop would be the first to fall. Their figures practically could not be seen at all. Only indistinct shadows could be seen flitting about space. The air continuously let out a series of explosions. At random times there would be the sudden appearance of a yellow dragon fighting a white dragon, occasionally releasing a wave like the heavens, occasionally releasing pervasive yellow chi. The entire island filled with killing intent, creating even greater momentum. Not only this, but Li Xiangfei's Dragonling Kiss and Shi Jingluan's single-horned Pishio Beast also started a star beast battle on the seas. Making the others watch, awestruck. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon was not in the mood to fight Shi Jingluan. Although killing 9 tattooed dragons was fine, the most important goal right now was still to take the Jade Qilin's star energy. Seeing that she unexpectedly was comprehending her heavenly book for so long, the concentration of the star energy flowing in the surroundings surely signified her star energy was not low. However, the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon was being occupied by Li Shuangfei. The sky-soaring great sage's 3-star weapons could not be dismissed so easily. A southern barbarian sword, an autumn breeze shield, and a dead leaves dart, the lowest being 4-star, gave the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon a severe headache. However, this gave Su Xingxiang a chance. "Wife, help this great saint stall this woman." The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon promptly used sound transmission. Star energy could not compare to magic energy, but there was no way he could share. Fearing that Su Xingxiang would take it, he hastily ordered her. "Wife shall take the Qilin first, then turn her over to Lord Husband." Su Xingxiang did not want to let go of such a good opportunity. With a charming smile on her lips, she flew out. Currently, the only ones guarding Lu Xiao were living goddess of lightning Wang Jingji and little Yuji Sun Xinyue. The two of them were star generals ranked over 100. Su Xingxiang felt she could handle them. Even if she had to use the 10,000 souls parasol and expose her final trump card, she felt this was unnecessary to use. Su Xingxiang's great heavenly cycle little dark star flying swords were summoned. 100 flying swords arranged into a large circle, forming a widespread array. Sword light flashed. Great heavenly cycle little dark star. Each of the Devil Star Palace's 4 great law protectors were startled. Elder dried bones lightless eyes glowed. These flying swords were considerably famous immemorial sword chants, the signature skill of the Dark Star Palace. Devil Ancestor Dark Nether practiced precisely this sword chant. Its might was far more formidable than Great Saint Starkler's heavenly cycle-changing holy flying swords. They had originally thought that Su Xingxiang's flying swords ought to have been SOSO, but no one imagined this ordinarily compliant young woman would surprisingly retain such a trump card. "I truly would never have imagined." Fiend Star sneered. "What do we do now?" Corpse Devil Ruthlessness said in a low voice. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon was the Devil Star Palace's chosen Star Master. Now, upon seeing Su Xingxiang go to take the Jade Qilin, he did not know what to do. "Let us watch for now. For the Jade Qilin to die at her hand is not a loss. The Devil Ancestor only wants the heavenly book. He has no interest in anything else." And, when the Holy Lord of Draconic Demons saw Su Xingxiang go to kill Lu Xiao, he was about to shout curses at her, but upon seeing Su Xingxiang's great heavenly cycle little dark star flying swords, he was immediately struck dumb. Pitch-black sword light shone in the heavens. The 100 flying swords glittered and split apart, becoming tens of thousands of twinkling stars around Lu Xiao. This was a sure-kill sword array. Even 9 tattooed dragon Shi Jingluan did not foresee this girl would surprisingly pose the greatest trouble. She had calculated the Devil Star Palace would dispatch people. If she was against the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon, she had some chance of victory. As for the 4 great law protectors, Lu Tianya and the other girls could face them, but Su Xingxiang's actions immediately changed the situation. The expression of the giggling Wang Jingji concentrated into something unsightly. She snapped her fingers, not hesitating to use her earth rank. Empty void. Sun Xinyue also immediately used her earth rank saber technique to intercept. Destruction of celestial objects. Su Xingxiang did not fear their earth rank's powers. The only thing on her mind was taking the Jade Qilin. Du Yunxiang sensed her master's boldness and also used her earth rank, summoning gods and demons. The name of this technique was very aggressive, but it was not a formidable technique at all. It only guided the powers of gods and demons to protect Su Xingxiang. By doing so, she could greatly reduce the power of the incoming earth ranks. Life and death passed in a mere instant. Su Xingxiang broke through the earth ranks and immediately arrived in front of Lu Xiao. This was bad. Liked it? When Shiyu arrived at the island Lu Xiao was on, the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon and Shi Jingluan had already begun battle. Both of them were significant powers in the Black Turtle territory. Shiyu was naturally very aware of that. Seeing Shi Jingluan was surprisingly protecting Strength Star Lu Xiao, she was a bit relieved. However, she had no intentions at all of helping either. The reason was very simple. Shiyu was also planning to act at the end, to first allow the two to engage each other in mortal combat. She knew of Qingxi's uprising, and she also knew that they were the greatest enemy to Su Xing in the coming star duels. She did not care to give them protection. But female tiger Gu Tong was somewhat worried. Seeing her companions from the Spring Breeze Drunken Rain Pavilion, she was briefly excited, but seeing the Devil Star Palace's formation, she was also secretly nervous. We cannot go out right now. If you go, you will hurt yourself as well as hurt us. Shiyu said. Don't tell me we are not going to save elder sister. Gu Tong said with concern. After Su Xingxiang suddenly used her great heavenly cycle dark star flying swords, Gu Tong was even more nervous. The situation was already completely leaning towards the Devil Star Palace. What Shiyu said is very true. We cannot go out right now. Chai Ling nonchalantly said from her position of safety. She stroked Xinger, the corner of her lips curling into a smile. Gu Tong was even more confused. Chai Ling's eyes rolled about. Right now, everyone in the Black Turtle territory knows that Shiyu is the Purple Thunder Monster's wife. If she steps out, she will inevitably draw attention, which will instead make the Devil Star Palace and Nine Dragons Palace unite to face her. Hearing Chai Ling call her a wife, Shiyu was somewhat elated and nodded. True as that may be, when they saw Su Xingxiang surprisingly break through those earth rank to reach Lu Xiao, 11 Yu was also stunned. Without time for another thought, she hastily activated the Dual Mode's ruler. Green light flashed, and the Dual Mode's ruler descended before Lu Xiao, becoming two projections. Shielding her. Su Xingxiang's palm struck the Dual Mode's ruler. Her magic energy was reflected, shaking her back, vomiting blood. The Dual Mode's ruler's appearance once again shocked everyone. Shiyu and Gu Tong were forced to take the stage at this time. Water Illusion Fairy. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon was shocked and furious. How are you here? Can it be the Purple Thunder Monster has also come? As Shiyu had expected, the moment she appeared, Shi Jingluan and the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon both gave up on their battle, each looking at Shiyu with trepidation. Shiyu's renown as the Purple Thunder Monster's wife was not only known throughout the Black Turtle territory, but also across Liangshan continent as well. Seeing her supervoid middle stage cultivation, everyone could not help but draw in a breath. This Purple Thunder Monster indeed had significant background. That trifling water illusion fairy followed him and surprisingly already reached supervoid middle stage cultivation. This was the #1 cultivation in 3 territories. Queen, Su Xing is not here, we are helping elder sister. Let us repel this Devil Star Palace together. Gu Tong shouted out loud, afraid that Shi Jingluan would ally with the Devil Star Palace. She was the proprietress of the Spring Breeze Drunken Rain Pavilion. Li Shuangfei and Sun Xinyue naturally believed her, to say nothing of the fact that even if Su Xing was present, he may not necessarily raise his hand. However, Shi Jingluan was indeterminate. Her plan was originally to obtain the Jade Qilin's favor. If she allowed Su Xing's people to interfere, then this would be failure at the last moment. Killing intent secretly arose in her heart, but seeing Li Shuangfei and the others, she forcibly suppressed it. She could only make an alliance for the time being, then think of a solution later. Law protectors, quickly take care of them. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon shouted. Fiend's Star, Elder Dried Bone, Corpse Demon Ruthlessness, and a new law protector known as Ancestor 4 Evils immediately advanced. The 4 great supervoid cultivators attacked, an awe-inspiring force. Thousands of flying swords emerged. Fiend's Star was especially resentful of Shiyu, as if to the bone. He swung his hand and activated a heavenly cycle-changing holy flying sword array. Elder Dried Bone used his white bone rotting gas, while corpse demon ruthlessness swung his arms and pounced. Ancestor 4 Evils was only supervoid early stage, a lower cultivation, but he had inherited the position of true Lord Heavenly Commandment and was not lacking in power. His demon god evil fiend flying swords formed the faces of demons and launched. Shiyu activated the spirit flames of the clinging heaven vermilion Jian. Bright and beautiful flames illuminated the world. This is the vermilion Jian's clinging fire. Elder Dried Bone was shocked. The vermilion Jian's clinging fire immediately burned away his white bone rotting gas. Elder Dried Bone then activated a magic weapon, Dried Bone Stake, to attack. Zhang Feiyu at this time laughed, "You cultivators dare to impudent before me." The girl bounded over, her flaming fish king saber unleashing an earth rank. A trail of burning saber light broke out, accompanying Shiyu's clinging fire tyrannically. The 1,000 flying swords could not resist. The 4 great law protectors' actions were surprisingly suppressed, making them infuriated. Shiyu snapped her fingers, and then her flying swords also attacked. However, while she had supervoid middle stage cultivation, her powers were nevertheless very feeble. If she actually was compared to these law protectors, she was completely outmatched. Still, she fortunately had immemorial level powers like the vermilion Jian's clinging fire. This was doable. Did the purple thunder monster not come? Then you can just die. Fiend's Star shouted. Shiyu felt he was somewhat familiar. When she saw those flying swords, she exclaimed, "Could you be Great Saint Starkiller?" The man sneered. The heavenly cycle-changing holy swords were ferocious, immediately trapping Shiyu in a sword array. Sword light simultaneously twisted. No wonder. The Devil Star Palace cultivated you so meticulously, they naturally would never let you die. Shiyu said. Facing the sword array, she was not flustered. She activated the coiling dragon plate. The defensive magic weapon of true Lord Heavenly Commandment was indeed very formidable. A dragon specter coiled around her and blocked the incoming sword array attack. The feathers on Shiyu's magnificent clothes fluttered, releasing clinging fire. Meanwhile, when Su Xingxiang saw that the Lu Shao that was just within her reach had been blocked off by the dual mode's ruler, she was endlessly resentful. She raised the great heavenly cycle little dark star flying swords to handle Li Shuangfei, Sun Xinyue, and Gu Tong. In her mind, she prepared for a chance to activate the 10,000 souls parasol. For the sake of the strength star's star energy, there was no choice in exposing her trump card. Just at this moment, Du Yunxiang suddenly moaned. Several green lights intruded. Su Xingxiang immediately withdrew. Those green lights flew quickly and attacked Li Shuangfei's group. Li Shuangfei used her throwing darts to counter, but they were surprisingly unable to stop them. You had better turn elder sister over to Biluo. A green figure appeared. The girl revealed a charming smile, and at the same time, a man also appeared. Agile Star. Everyone was stunned, exclaiming. The newcomer was none other than Yan Wudao and Zhang Biluo. Yan Wudao up until now had not given up on his chase to kill Chai Ling. After coming to the Black Turtle territory, he heard the information about Lu Shao. Only then did he stop his rush, but it seemed he had caught up anyways. Zhang Biluo's eyes glowed when she saw the Lu Shao that was in her heavenly book dream. She and Yan Wudao had perfect coordination. Yan Wudao used his 6 paths plate to first deal with the dual mode's ruler while Zhang Biluo instantly used her earth rank. No life under heaven. Countless concealed weapons shot in all directions. Nobody dared to face this, only retreating and withdrawing, already having lost the initiative. That no life under heaven's concealed weapons pounded the dual mode's ruler to the point of collapse, and then when Yan Wudao's 6 paths plate struck it, the dual mode's ruler dissipated. Yan Wudao's flying swords directly attacked. But just at this moment, there was a change upon the sea. Li Xiangfei saw that the situation was very grim. This time, she activated her earth rank magic, Fury of the Ocean. She was even prepared to level the entire island that Jade Qilin Lu Shao was on. She would first kill Jade Qilin, then worry about the rest. But Shi Jingluan would not give her the chance to do so. 9 tattooed dragons activated her innate skill. A dragon tattoo appeared on her back, red as a branding iron. When Li Xiangfei saw this, her expression immediately changed. 9 tattooed dragons' innate skill dragon tattoo would temporarily increase her realm and star energy for each tattoo activated, at most 9 activations. But this innate skill's after effect was a severe decrease in realm and star energy. This was not very good overall. Activating 2 dragon tattoos was a bearable decrease, but any more would be trouble. But seeing that Shi Jingluan surprisingly used her innate skill, Li Xiangfei knew Shi Jingluan's intentions. The 2 powerful women once again battled without so much as uttering a word. Li Xiangfei suddenly roared. Her sword shattered Shi Jingluan's defenses, and the sea struck her body. The power was like a surging river. Instantly, the white knight dragon carving sword shook her several hundred times. Shi Jingluan's 6-star destined weapon yellow dragon staff blocked and missed. This was the dark technique White Dragon Enters Dream. Shi Jingluan sneered. She resolutely endured the pain of that attack. Let alone this was just a mere sword, that attack instantly split apart many of the defenses she had already weakened. That kind of frightening might could ferociously pour into her body, ravaging her organ systems and nerves. Seeing that the wound was not large, yet still hurt terribly, this made Shi Jingluan taste suffering for the first time. Li Xiangfei did not want to tussle with her for too long. She only wanted to find a chance to charge her earth rank. But Shi Jingluan already activated her 2nd dragon tattoo. The yellow dragon staff swept past empty space, a chill brushing over Li Xiangfei's skin. At some point in time, the ocean winds that had vanished instantly were released. Staff shadows filled the skies, slamming heavily downwards. Just as they were about to strike Li Xiangfei, a shadow suddenly appeared and used itself as a shield for the river dragon. Xiangfei, let them see your might. The one who intervened was none other than the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon. He used the 8 Desolation's heavenly demon body, focusing all of his body's power to block Shi Jingluan's strike. If this was before, the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon would never have dared to contend against a powerful star general, but after listening to Li Xiangfei's lecture, he seemed to have come to a realization. He made the prompt decision to allow Li Xiangfei the chance for her earth rank. So long as they could kill Lu Xiao, this would all be worth it. Li Xiangfei nodded. Shi Jingluan sneered. The staff technique in her hand changed, using her earth rank. Dragon battle upon plains. The yellow dragon staff froze, its power shooting in all directions. Its powerful killing intent made the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon's complexion turn pale. His knees quivered, and he wanted to flee. Sister Xiangfei, the rest is up to you. Demon King of Chaos Fan Ming rushed over to shield the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon. Master and servant were very coordinated, displaying the teamwork of the Black Turtle Territory's first-rate Star Master. Demon King of Chaos similarly countered with an Earth rank. But the 6-star Earth rank was far stronger. Fan Ming did not last too long against the Yellow Dragon Staff. That heavenly spirit astral treasure, Night Star dust-repelling armor, split apart. Her chest hurt, and she was killed into the star nest. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon controlled his flying swords, barely defending. At this time, Li Xiangfei's fury of the ocean finally ended. A matchlessly majestic power roared out of the seas. The Devil Star Palace's 4 great law protectors could only retreat. Run away, now. Wang Jingji pulled Li Shuangfei and Gu Tong, using her teleportation. The entire vicinity's endless sea area became a terrifying giant beast about to swallow everything and everyone on the seas. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon had stalled long enough to allow the river dragon this chance to use her earth rank with unprecedented power. Even Shiyu sensed that the dual mode's ruler was unexpectedly unable to stop this. Not good. Shiyu's expression changed. She hastily activated her vermilion Jian for protection evading the water. The others also complied one after another. Though Li Xiangfei's goal was only Lu Shao, the endless seas bounded up, like a beast unleashed. On the contrary, the Yan Wudao who was closest to Lu Shao was pale in the face. Liked it,